Amidst the deafening cheers of thousands in the studio, the announcer's excited voice rang out with steady intensity. I can hardly believe it, folks. 10 million players, hundreds of brutal battlefields, and a series of classic turnarounds that defied every obstacle and cutthroat competition. The only champion to survive until the final second, she didn't dodge. Instead of backing down, she faced it head-on. Instead of hesitating, she charged straight forward. The announcer squinted at the scoreboard, took a deep breath, and shouted, "And finally, she has carved a legend from the virtual world into real life." Everyone remember this moment, the first ever champion of our live stream tournament, pro player Shin Hae-sun. With reflexes faster than a blink, instincts that defy precision, and a physicality unlike anything we've ever seen. With a script that escalated perfectly, the announcer continued to push the audience's excitement to new heights. She has crossed the boundary from a mere gamer to a legend. Pro player Shin Hae-sun will conclude her journey on this stage to prepare for her debut in the pro leagues. That's right, who will take up this high-reaching glory in the upcoming season. 6 years later, in a luxurious high-rise building in the heart of a bustling district, the reception area was surprisingly crowded. Yet the vast research lab remained as quiet as ever, allowing the scientists to focus on their work. Suddenly, a massive machine pod opened, and the man lying inside opened his eyes to hear a gentle, echoing voice. "How are you feeling?" Ji-hye looked at his dazed expression with excitement and continued, "It's been a long time since you played, hasn't it?" Seo-jun waited for her to finish before replying immediately. "It's true, I feel much less dizzy than before. My body feels much lighter, too." A soft sigh escaped his lips, making Ji-hye unable to hold back a chuckle. Even so, she didn't forget her work and got straight to the point. "I'm about to discuss something. Could you come here for a moment?" This next-gen pod is integrated with all of our company's most advanced technology, optimized so well that even those with physical disabilities can experience it smoothly. Of course, for cases with a low synchronization rate like yours, Seo-jun, as long as you play within the regulated time, you won't have any issues. Upon hearing that, he immediately looked up and asked, "How much does this cost?" The direct question made Ji-hye hesitate for a few seconds. "Oh, well, that," before eagerly raising her hand to quote the price, 100 million won. The staggering figure made Seo-jun freeze. 100 million won. While Ji-hye laughed awkwardly. "Is that price too much for you?" He was busy calculating his account balance and sighed. The balance wasn't enough. His total assets were 458 won. Ji-hye saw his dejected face and decided not to drag out the awkwardness, taking the initiative. "That's why I have a special offer for you, Seo-jun. Do you want to hear it?" Seo-jun slowly stepped into the pod, a device that satisfies the aspirations of the new generation by bringing virtual reality into countless different industries. But among them, the field that makes people the most crazy is surely... The machine pod quickly transferred Seo-jun's consciousness straight into the dragon's head to deliver a top-tier knockout. The giant dragon tumbled to the ground, leaving Seo-jun a moment to sigh before landing. Perhaps because of its ability to stimulate the adrenaline of both players and viewers, video games are always the field that everyone loves most, with a level of realism so overwhelming that one can't believe they are in a virtual world. When the cue was given by the system, incredibly beautiful skills began to be unleashed by the players. Seo-jun was drawn into that world naturally, and the whole world also erupted into a virtual reality gaming craze. However, Seo-jun had passed out inside the pod before even a year had passed. It was all because the synchronization rate needed to move like in real life within the virtual world was much lower for him than the average, with a rate of only 10%. That bitter truth left Seo-jun sitting dejectedly checking the news on his phone. While sitting on the bus, the frustration made the young man unable to hold back a sigh. "I had hoped, just because they said, this pod could play games regardless of a low synchronization rate, but no matter what, 100 million won is still too expensive. Are they just milking money? If I had known, I wouldn't have touched games in the first place. Now I'm craving the feeling of playing again." Seo-jun leaned his arm against the window and stared intently at the sky. Unconsciously, he sighed in disappointment as a vague thought crossed his mind. Why did I even get into this pod gaming stuff back then? Night fell at a dull apartment complex. The cheers of the announcer from the TV echoed throughout the space. This week, a new record has been set. The first ever champion in South Korea, pro player Shin Hae-sun. Two, hearing this, excitedly commented, "Oh, damn, that's amazing. I totally bought this. It's huge." Even pro players currently competing are joining this friendly match. Seojun, just returning home, cleared his throat and asked, "What are you watching that's so loud?" His sudden appearance startled his friend. "Oh, you're back. This tournament's friendly match is insanely good, man." Seojun looked at his happy friend and sat down next to Two to chat. "Is that tournament really that famous? I see ads for it everywhere all day." Surprisingly, that question made the other guy tense up. "Are you crazy?" Asking if this tournament is famous. Seojun asked, that unsure if it might be offensive to someone who doesn't play VR games, while still confused by the other person's overreaction. "What is wrong with you?" Two, clearly annoyed, launched into a rant with the tone of a hardcore fan of the League tournament, a league that pulled 15 million views during its premiere. And that's just in South Korea alone. The regular annual tournament already draws at least 1 million viewers. If you count the international audience, it's a massive record-breaking event with over 15 million views. Aside from the professional leagues, this is hands down the most epic tournament out there. Hearing that, Seojun blankly asked, "So what kind of weapons do they usually use?" Even though he didn't grasp the meaning behind his friend's naive question, Two still replied sincerely, "There are bows and magic too, but honestly, swords are still the strongest." As soon as he said that, he watched his friend's reaction, not expecting Seojun to go silent and mutter to himself, "Swords, huh?" Two looked at his friend, who seemed completely spaced out. Feeling frustrated, he shoved a handful of potato chips into his mouth. "It's not like you're guaranteed to win just by picking up a sword, you know. Last year, I tried to show off swinging a sword around and got eliminated in the preliminaries. I only got a piece of gray-tier trash as a reward." Before he could even finish bragging, his hopes were crushed by Seojun's cold comment. "So does that mean anyone can sign up to participate whether they're famous or not?" The nonchalant question quickly made Two lose his mind, and he started yelling, "Hey, I'm actually pretty good. You have to understand, if you don't have a reputation, getting a spot in the league tournament is like pulling teeth, okay?" Seojun didn't even care. He just casually scratched his ear and sighed, feeling a headache coming on. Once Two finally cooled down, he asked, "Why are you suddenly asking about the league tournament anyway? You never even bother with VR pods or live streams." Seojun went silent for a few seconds before answering quietly, "Just asking." Suddenly, the phone in his pocket vibrated violently. As soon as Seojun opened it, a message about Ji-hye's earlier offer hit him right in the face. Memories from earlier that morning flooded back into his mind. In the league tournament organized by the company, a next-generation VR pod had been added to the prize list. "If you agree to participate in this tournament, I'll make an exception and let you borrow a VR pod for free until the tournament ends." Seeing Seojun's surprised reaction, Ji-hye had excitedly closed the deal with confidence. "What do you think?" Back in reality, he quickly asked tentatively, "How about I try entering the league tournament too?" Two, who had just been rambling on mindlessly, stopped dead in his tracks. "Wait, the league tournament." A second later, he turned to look at him with a look of disbelief. "What did you just say?" Seojun, sensing his friend's confusion, replied gently, "I said I'd try entering the league tournament. Don't you think I could actually make something happen if I got serious?" The other guy's laid-back attitude made Two let out a long, loud groan. "Do you think the league tournament is some national karaoke contest where anyone can just jump on stage? Where did that overconfidence even come from?" The harsh words made Seojun sigh wearily. While his friend wasn't looking, he retreated into his own private thoughts. "I've thought a lot about the real reason why I'm so desperate to get back into VR games. I want to experience the glory I once held as the sword god one more time." My subconscious mind quickly pulled Seojun back to the moment he stood alone in the ancient forest. His sharp eyes suddenly caught a lethal image before his body automatically tilted, waiting for the swarm of assassins to pounce on him. Seojun calmly drew his precious sword and effortlessly dealt with the human-shaped monsters without a shred of hesitation. How could he ever forget the image of himself standing alone among the bodies of those he had struck down? Seojun, a man who seemed like a useless loser, still held all the intact memories of his past life. Whether he wanted to or not, the memories kept rushing back, a secret black market that only opened on the night of the full moon. Even at the very bottom of society, Seojun was just merchandise waiting to be used. That slave in his past life was him. If that moment had been peaceful in a place where blood didn't stain every path, perhaps things would have been different. A stranger had suddenly appeared, taking out those despicable slave traders. Everything happened in a flash right before his eyes. While he was still dazed, not knowing what to do, that man had approached him and said, "Hey kid, Do you want to come with me? If Master Han Seok hadn't appeared back then, offering a rare touch of kindness in that cold, cruel place. The past of a genius saved from the brink of despair, or the burden of leading the righteous path amidst envy and expectations, or the legacy of a sword god, none of it would exist. So Jun would forever remember the past. Do you want to come with me? If Master Hansuk hadn't appeared back then, reaching out to show a rare moment of compassion in that heartless place, a genius's past would have been lost to the abyss. The despair and the burden of being a leader of the righteous path amidst such jealousy and high expectations, or even the sword god of the past, none of it would matter yet. Seo-chun is still haunted by what came before, so just nodding and smiling like a lunatic. What good is that? If you were a sword god in your past life, Tu stood to the side watching his friend look like he was possessed. You're a lunatic, he muttered in annoyance. Seo-chun, fuming, dropped his voice to an icy tone as he turned to talk back to his buddy. But Tu didn't look scared. Instead, he raised an eyebrow and shot back. I said you're a lunatic. Spending money on this. Just to join a live stream tournament. Does that sound reasonable to you? His attitude made Seo-chun's face harden. Why are you getting so worked up? Why wouldn't it be reasonable? Tu paused for a few seconds to let his frustration settle, then snapped. Do you have any idea how insanely strict the requirements are to join a Pro League tournament? If you're not already a famous streamer, you won't even get a foot in the door. Tu looked at his friend's blank expression and couldn't help but sigh. You think being famous is easy. You need the gift of gab. You need to keep people hooked. You need to get likes and comments, keep up with notifications, and have lightning-fast reflexes in-game. As he spoke, Tu started flailing his arms around to act out his point. Whether Seo-chun wanted to listen or not, he kept happily posing and making a scene. You also have to know how to edit videos. Even if you manage all that, most people still fail because nobody watches them. And the VR pod? You haven't even touched one yet. So how are you going to play? His sharp argument left Seo-chun confused, staring at the machine behind him as he asked to confirm one more time. Isn't there a way to make it on pure skill? That simple question made Tu snort and mutter, this guy is seriously stubborn. Actually, there is one way. Take Shin Ha-zen, for example, the one who gets praised with all the fanciest words. The top of the top. The #1 gamer in Korea, more famous than actual celebrities. Seo-chun didn't show even a hint of admiration. Instead, he responded with the overwhelming calm detachment of someone completely oblivious to pop culture. Oh, I'm better than her, though. Actually, I've used this VR pod once before, a long time ago. Of course, that calm, airy statement didn't register with Tu at all. That's absolute nonsense. Did you hear a single word I just said? This isn't working. I have to teach you a practical lesson. He calmly walked toward the VR pod and invited him in. Get in there now. If you're actually better than Shin Ha-zen, no, just beat me. From now on, I'll do all the chores. Once the bet was laid out, Seo-chun didn't hesitate. He cracked a knowing smile and agreed almost instantly. Deal. A moment later, Seo-chun crawled into the pod to get into position while the system was busy processing, connecting to virtual reality, 10 seconds remaining. He drifted back into his own thoughts. A streamer? To be honest, this is an industry I've never been interested in, but... Seo-chun took a deep breath. He let his mind drift. Suddenly, the image of Han Suk appeared in his subconscious, and his gentle voice, blow on it, echoed through Seo-chun's mind. Nobody starts off skilled, they only get better with time. If you hesitate just because you haven't tried, you'll never amount to anything. As those words faded, a flash of blinding light appeared in his eyes. Seo-chun slowly opened them to see an unfamiliar, ancient-looking landscape that left him stunned for a moment. Where is this before? Seo-chun could do anything. The system suddenly announced, Kim Tu has entered the training room. Tu appeared and immediately grinned, muttering, You're in, huh? Seo-chun reined in his surging curiosity and replied, Yeah, what is this place? Sensing his friend's interest, Tu casually explained, This is the training room. It's a basic game built into the VR pod where you fight someone to set your rank. When Seo-chun showed his ignorance, he asked, Can't I just fight you? Tu, who was handing gear to his friend, couldn't help but chuckle. Here, take this. Hey, if I fight, I'm not holding back. You might actually get hurt. Beat my AI clone here first. If you manage that, you win the bet. A system parameter board suddenly popped up, leaving Seo-chun completely bewildered. Tu didn't even need to look to know what it was. I should just explain it. The AI here has levels from 1 to 10. The higher the level, the stronger it gets. Level 10 simulates the best player in the game. Out of everyone who cleared level 9, Shin Ha-zen has held that spot for 5 years straight. But anyway, to get to level 10, you have to pass level 9 first, and that's not easy. Before he could finish his sentence, he was left speechless as he saw the system screen open. So it turns out Seo-chun had already picked his difficulty level. The system scrambled to summon the AI into solo mode, and the match started instantly. Tu caught a glimpse of Seo-chun's cold, expressionless face and couldn't help but scoff. "What are you acting so cool for? You're done choosing, huh? What level did you pick? Don't tell me you're being a fool and jumping straight into a high difficulty." A split second later, the AI lunged at Seo-chun with its blade. The moment it swung that heavy weapon, Seo-chun parried it effortlessly. Steel clashed against steel with a sharp ring. Tu huffed and chuckled. "What's wrong with this guy? Why is he acting so smug?" Meanwhile, Seo-chun was casually parrying every move the AI made. When the AI tried a dirty trick thrusting its sword forward, Seo-chun dodged it with a cool, effortless grace before the AI could even react. Seo-chun landed a strike of his own. A single light attack took away half of the AI's health bar. The sight left Tu watching from the sidelines, speechless. Shocked is an understatement. Was that just luck? Meanwhile, Seo-chun stood perfectly still, waiting for the AI's next move. The moment it rushed into his range, he swung his sword, throwing the AI completely off balance. Before it could recover, Seo-chun landed a flurry of strikes. Just as the AI tried to raise its sword for a cheap shot, he slashed, cleanly severing the robot's mechanical arm from its body. When the AI's arm hit the ground, Tu turned pale with shock. The AI was being completely dismantled. Feeling a killing intent, the AI looked up only for Seo-chun to calmly step over its mangled, twitching arm. That sound made the AI look up, and that was exactly the moment Seo-chun was waiting for. He wanted it to see his victory smile before he sent it off to heaven. Seo-chun withdrew his thin blade from its body. He let the system retrieve the AI. The system's ping sounds processing the data rang out continuously. Just a moment later, it displayed Seo-chun's stats from the battle. Match 1, difficulty level 9, health remaining 10. Time elapsed 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Current ranking, 107th. Tu froze in his tracks. What level 9 the AI he just crushed was level 9? Wait a minute, does that mean the next match will be... The system quickly configured a new AI combatant. As it finished loading and pulsed with energy, Tu sensed a change and instinctively backed away a few steps. Shin Ha-zen. The scene was so terrifying that Tu didn't even dare to breathe. Because the one set to fight the AI Ha-zen was his quiet friend Seo-chun. What the hell is going on with this guy? Back at the lab, Sumin casually asked, "Chi-hee, director, why would you do that?" When she received a puzzled look, she clarified, "What do you mean?" Sumin quickly explained her thoughts. "You didn't have to be that generous just by letting him borrow the pod for free, right? Honestly, he looks like the type who wouldn't be able to crawl into the DIOS pod even if he had a lifetime." In her head, she imagined Seo-chun's attitude when he agreed to Chi-hee's offer. "From now on, this virtual pod is mine." Chi-hee waited for her subordinate to finish, then let out an "ah." "I just felt it was a waste to see such talent go unused." Sumin quickly caught the keyword and raised an eyebrow. "Talent, you say?" Chi-hee kept her eyes fixed on Seo-chun's file, lost in thought. Even back then, when he couldn't even reach the minimum synchronization rate, I could already tell there was something very different about him. His skills now far exceed what they were back then. Not wanting to leave Sumin in the dark, Chi-hee sighed slowly and said in a vague tone, "True, he's still a long way from meeting the requirements. But if he actually makes it in, I think he could become the champion." Meanwhile, inside the system's training space, Seo-chun was casually sparring with the AI Ha-zen. The intensity of the sword fight made even Tu break into a cold sweat. Could he really become the champion? A thought flashed through his mind, and he hurriedly hit the record button. A sudden glimmer of belief made Tu smile darkly. If he really wins... This is going to be a goldmine of content. Meanwhile, Seo-chun was still busy dueling with the AI Ha-zen. As he flicked his sword to push his opponent away, the AI Ha-zen quickly regained its footing by pressing its limbs against the arena floor. The opponent's flexibility made Seo-chun slightly impressed. "You're worthy of the name Shin Ha-zen. I realized that before, too. But still, she's more talented than anyone I've met in my past life." thinking that Seo-chun didn't forget to pat himself on the back well, except for one person. His sudden lapse in focus made Tu scream out, "Hey, what are you doing?" In that split second, the AI Heizen took advantage of her opponent's distraction to run a sword through Seo-chun. The result made Tu abandon all hope for him. That's right, exactly. How on earth could you keep up with Shin Ha-zen's speed? Unexpectedly, Seo-chun calmly pulled the AI's sword out of his stomach and tossed it to the floor without even glancing at his friend. A thought flickered through Seo-chun's mind. As he watched Ha-zen leap backward, he felt no pain at all. There wasn't even a drop of blood. Seo-chun looked at the notification that he'd lost 1 point of health and commented nonchalantly, "Virtual reality really is amazing." His unexpected calm made Tu frown in confusion. "Don't tell me. Did you let yourself get hit on purpose just to test it out?" Seo-chun didn't argue back. Instead, he just shrugged nonchalantly. "I was just a little curious." While the two were still busy chatting, Ai-Hazan suddenly switched to a new sword, replacing the old one. It slowly lowered its center of gravity and rushed toward Seo-chun at full speed. The sudden burst of speed forced him to match its velocity to parry the strike. On one side was Ai-Hazan, a copy of the strongest modern-day player. On the other side was Seo-chun, who in his past life had mastered the most powerful swordsmanship of the ancient era. Both quickly clashed their blades against their opponent in a surprise move. This created a powerful shockwave. While Seo-chun calmly lowered his blade, Ai-Hazan was slightly flustered, standing still as if it had never encountered such a situation before. Warning screens began to pop up inside its energy barrier. Seo-chun quickly read those brief pieces of information. He decided to flick his sword, knocking Ai-Hazan backward. Before it could recover, he kicked it hard in the stomach. The hasty attack left it panicked. It jumped back to maintain a safe distance while the cold voice of the system rang in its head, HP-4. Seo-chun looked at Ai-Hazan without moving a muscle, then smirked. "What's wrong? Not rushing in anymore." He leaned back slightly, then gathered momentum to spring forward. "All right then, let's go." Seo-chun emerged gently from behind a hazy mist to appear right in front of Ai-Hazan. "I'm coming in." His aggressive attack forced it to raise its sword to block. The way both sides pressed their blades against each other with such intense force caused sparks to fly from the friction. But just a split second later, jagged cracks appeared on Ai-Hazan's blade. That sight left Tu visibly stunned. "Wait, no way!" Before he could even finish his sentence, Seo-chun shattered Ai-Hazan's sword. The sheer power of his shockwave even knocked it far away. Everything went according to Seo-chun's plan, making him unable to hold back a smile. With the victory secured early in the sunset light as the system had scheduled, he slowly raised his sword toward that Ai-Hazan. Before delivering the final blow, Seo-chun didn't forget to mock it. "Train for another 85 years and you might actually be able to beat me." As soon as he finished speaking, he landed a finishing strike across Ai-Hazan's neck. The system received all the information and quickly reported the result. "You have won the match," under the awestruck and fearful gaze of Tu. Seo-chun just casually commented on this. "I just wiped out Shin Ha-sun. Is this enough skill to be a dream player now?" As soon as those words left his mouth, the system also updated some important information. Level 10 owner has changed. The next day, at that very same rental property, Seo-chun lay lazily on the sofa, acting like a boss. "While you're at it, go buy some food too." After the shock of his previous day, Tu now had to be a literal servant for him. "How did you cook this? It's not even done yet. And remember to vacuum the living room later. The laundry isn't folded either. And go wash the dishes when you're done eating." It was all because of that unwinnable bet, so Tu could only cry in silence. Didn't he say he wouldn't accept any form of resistance? Meanwhile, as soon as he finished eating, Seo-chun went into his small private room where the machine pod was preparing to log in for the day. The game was already set up yesterday. Time to get the live stream room ready. Seo-chun nervously closed his eyes, letting the machine pod transport his consciousness away. That faint light appeared once again. Who knows how much time passed? Seo-chun slowly lifted his heavy eyelids. The surrounding space was minimalist to the point of being cold, leaving him feeling slightly dazed as he blankly looked in every direction. Where is this place? The system's basic interface suddenly appeared as it spoke, introducing itself to answer the previous question. "This is your personal lobby, Seo-chun. Feel free to prepare before entering the game." He started scratching his chin, nodding like a 70-year-old man. "Ah, right. Streamers interact with viewers right in their own lobby, so this is the place. I definitely need to redecorate this place. Gotta make it look decent. All right, Let's turn on Chideo first. The #1 gaming livestream platform Chideo quickly appeared before Seo-chun's eyes. A clear thought quickly crossed his mind. Like a gust of wind, he thought, right now I only have one goal: attract enough followers as a streamer to meet the requirements for Dios. Then the system suddenly announced, your live stream will begin right now. Seo-chun slowly steadied his breathing. The game I've chosen is Dawn of the Assassin Squad. This is the one. A medieval-themed game where players must take down their targets using the most bizarre tricks imaginable. Seo-chun proudly nodded at his decision. It had already hit over 2 million viewers. On its very first day of release, and even after a week, its popularity hadn't cooled down at all. It was perfect for someone just starting out like him. In the dark night, there was a fishing hook. Someone fired a hook onto the stone wall. The sharp grapple set instantly, allowing the shooter to vault up. Seo-chun had already entered the new game interface. He grabbed the rope, kicked off the wall, and started running up. A few minutes later, he finally reached the top floor of the building. Thanks to the techniques from his past life, Seo-chun landed gracefully at his destination. In a split second, he leaned over to admire the magnificent city. Below him, a sudden gust of wind blew his hood off, revealing Seo-chun's new look. All right, let's get started. Time to go live, he said as the system suddenly popped up. Title streaming a brand new game for the first time. Any pros out there want to give a newbie some tips? Reading that, Seo-chun looked puzzled. Does that clickbait title even work? He wondered, recalling his friend's confident advice from earlier. Hey, buddy, when it comes to streaming seniority, I'm your senior. Just trust me. It'll pull in a crowd for sure. Seo-chun couldn't help but laugh and shake his head. Still, he wasn't exactly a complete novice when it came to these VR games. After a moment of amusement, Seo-chun turned serious, scanning the opulent, money-scented buildings below with a slow, deliberate gaze. The way the characters were geared up and moved like real people, combined with the consistent world-building, made Seo-chun feel strangely delighted. The setting is pretty immersive, I have to admit. The graphics are top tier, he thought, beaming with unconscious excitement. Suddenly, he heard footsteps approaching from behind. He turned around calmly as someone gently called out to him. About this mission, you might not make it back. Seo-chun quickly read the system's prompted dialogue. Gina, have we ever done a job that wasn't dangerous? Before she could add another line, Seo-chun frowned, realizing, wait, the tutorial is running on autopilot and the voice is different too, so this character's name is Dina. She looks pretty cool. Once Gina turned her face, revealing her hesitation, Seo-chun smiled. With a gravelly voice, he replied, if you want to take someone else's life, you have to be prepared to lose your own. Time to pay up with your life. Hearing him talk about life and death, Gina regained her composure and cleared her throat. Yeah, fair enough. Still be careful, they might have caught your scent already. But unlike her worry, Seo-chun dismissively brushed off her concern. Don't worry about it. Just go wait for me at the tavern. Unexpectedly, Gina didn't follow his instructions. Instead, she handed him a folded piece of paper. Under his confused gaze, she said vaguely, nothing is true. Learn to doubt everything. Hearing that line, Seo-chun smirked with excitement. Here we go. He continued with the system-mandated line as he took the paper. Even the chaos, huh? After parting ways with Gina, Seo-chun took off running, gliding across the rooftops. He pulled out a thick cord and gripped it firmly. Once his destination was set, Seo-chun let himself swing along the line, sliding smoothly through the air. Near the end, he released the cable, kicked off the top of a streetlight, and landed as perfectly as a superstar without a speck of dust on him. His eyes still held the piercing gaze of his former God of Assassins persona. Until the system announced tutorial mode ended, he returned to his usual dorky self. Wait, it's done. Seo-chun scrambled to get back in the zone to continue the game. Is this a dead end? In front of him, small info text appeared. Optimization terrible. Please climb up using the water pipe. That prompt made Seo-chun feel uneasy. He looked at the pipes on the wall in frustration. You want me to climb that? As soon as his hand touched a small pipe, his body seemed to trigger some kind of energy. He kicked off the pipe, vaulted high into the air, and landed on the rooftop a moment later. The fluid, skillful climbing left him visibly surprised. Whoa, what just happened? My body moved on its own so smoothly. The interaction is incredibly realistic. Is that it? Maybe I felt stiff earlier because it was on autopilot. Suddenly, a new tutorial mission appeared before Seo-chun's eyes. Assassination target Atos. Atos is a high-ranking noble. It and a middleman for a secret organization. The Assassin's Guild has assigned members to eliminate him. Completion condition, Itos must die. Seojun read through the long-winded text and sighed. Basically just kill this Itos guy, right? I have to admit this game gives great directions. No sooner had he said that than the system automatically dropped a rope for him. As he carefully climbed down the rope, he muttered to himself, "It guides you step by step. That makes things easy." Suddenly, this lunatic stopped everything he was doing, all because a crazy thought flashed through his mind. I wonder, what happens if I let go while climbing? Do I really have to climb all the way to the end of the rope? Letting go halfway shouldn't be a problem, right? My gut tells me this is faster. Thinking that the madman Seojun let go. As predicted, he plummeted and smashed into the ground like a ripe durian falling from a tree. A moment later, Seojun regained his senses, sitting up and groaning in pain. Just as expected, his body hit the ground like a ripe durian falling from a tree. A moment later, Seojun finally regained his senses, sitting up with a groan. Yeah, it's really not working out. Suddenly, that unconscious action caused the comment section to pop up before his eyes. Seojun scanned through all the current comments. Wow, this streamer is a total newbie for real. Watching new players struggle is so entertaining. Don't tell me he's acting, I'm dying of laughter. Seriously, I was just as clueless when I first started. Embarrassed, he muttered to himself. Oh right, I'm still live. I keep forgetting. How did 4 people get in here already? I thought nobody would be watching. Does that title actually work? Seojun imagined the look of excitement on Tu's face when he hears this news. Told you so. He thought, then gently interacted with the viewers. Sorry about that, everyone. Only now did he notice the chat. The audience was split into 2 camps in an instant. Watching a newbie fumble around is actually pretty fun. Stop wasting time, move faster already. Don't be sluggish, keep going. But Seojun only focused on one thing. Why are these usernames so weird? Are these just random eccentric people wandering in here? Then he remembered Tu's advice. When you first start live streaming, you have to talk to yourself to fill the silence. Even if there's no one or just one person watching, don't worry about the numbers. The most important thing is interaction. That sent Seojun into a private analytical spiral in his head. Why did they choose to watch his channel instead of the big ones? Surely it's because they want real interaction. In big channels, the chat moves like a hurricane, everything just zips by. Let me try talking naturally and see how it goes. No sooner said than done, Seojun started a Q&A session with the viewers watching him. Hey, are you really a newbie? Yeah, I really am. I checked the account was made 2 days ago, totally legit. Wait. You can even check that? Of course. If you don't want people to see, just set it to private. Oh, that's such a hassle. Too lazy to hide the profile, but diligent enough to play games, huh? So, when are you actually going to start the quest? I'm heading there right now. Time slipped by, and finally, Seojun arrived at Count Etose's mansion. After calmly commenting, "That was quick," he stepped inside. The viewers, however, were not comfortable with the scene they were seeing. That house looks like a haunted horror mansion, man. The sound of those crows is making my hair stand on end. Not knowing what to do first, Seojun asked for help from the audience. What should I do first? Should I just walk straight through the front door? It only got an intense reaction from them. This guy is fearless, so typical of a newbie. Wait, hold on. The letter from Gitana said not to do that. The last comment revealed that Seojun had just unfolded the letter. Oh, right, there's a letter. He squinted to read the content and muttered while interacting with the chat. It says here, Etose is in the 2nd floor bedroom, and there are about 20 guards. As he spoke, Seojun summoned his hot gear. His left hand was shrouded by the system for a few seconds before a small layer of equipment appeared around his arm. Seojun stared blankly at his 2 new items. A sword hidden in a walking cane and spiked gauntlets. His innocent expression made the viewers chime in to explain, those are just the default weapons from the tutorial. Seojun didn't pay much attention to that, though. My goal is just to take down Etose anyway. This is more than enough. With that in mind, he sheathed the sword and calmly marched toward the enemy's front door. All right, I'm going in. That decisive move made the audience panic like a mother hen watching her chick run toward the train tracks. Wait, this newbie is insane. Stop! When Seojun calmly turned around to ask, what's wrong? Everyone collectively sighed and groaned. Good Lord, did you not read the whole letter from Gitana? Please follow the instructions in the letter. Use the shelf. He's going to have to die a few times to learn his lesson. The Grim Reaper is getting ready to welcome another soul today. A series of strange reactions made Seojun purse his lips in thought. Since he couldn't figure out what was going on, he just asked them directly. "Can't I use the front door?" One viewer messaged, "Do you know what a gym tank run playstyle is?" Seo-chun immediately showed his ignorance. "What's that?" That sincere look of confusion made the other person show some mercy and start teaching him patiently. "In this game, if you get detected during a mission, the NPCs get a massive buff, so people usually sneak around. But sometimes veterans like to play recklessly, just walking straight into the front door and stabbing everything in sight. That all-in playstyle is called a gym tank run." Seo-chun skimmed through the entire comment. Then he quickly asked again. "So that means it's impossible to beat the tutorial just by going all in like that." The other guy didn't even think twice and said straight up, "Who knows, nobody's managed to do it yet." "No way. I grinded for like 10 hours, got totally helpless, and had to give up and go the normal route to get the first ending, just telling myself I'd come back for revenge later. Even the veterans on the forum haven't posted about anyone doing it yet." Hearing that, Seo-jun couldn't help but chuckle. "So it's not that it's impossible, just that no one's done it yet, right?" The other guy, not seeing the change in Seo-jun's expression, spoke gently like a long-time buddy. "Yeah, unless you've got god-tier skills like Shin-ha-sun, you don't stand a chance." That familiar name made Seo-jun decide to take a step forward. "Shin-ha-sun, huh?" He gently pulled his cap down and flashed a bright grin. "All right, let's see how this goes." The blood-soaked scenery surrounding Itozi's mansion created an indescribably eerie atmosphere even to this very moment. Seo-jun slowly soaked in the bizarre vibe of the place and slightly swayed. "Whoa, up close, this pressure is no joke." They say letting the viewers look down on you a little is part of the art of content creation. He calmly read the stream of comments scrolling by and closed the deal right there. "All right, I'm betting on myself not being a noob right now. Is anyone betting on what turn this guy is gonna rage quit? He'll never make it past this. Just die already and restart to save time. You guys are being way too harsh on him. What is this noob doing? Does he even know who Shin-ha-sun is to be acting so cocky?" Those biting remarks didn't concern Seo-jun as much as something else. 3 more people just joined the stream, so you really do need to stir up a little drama to pull in viewers. Fine, as long as they don't cross the line, I'll let them be. The light sound of Seo-jun's footsteps quickly grabbed the attention of the mansion guards. They scrambled into a battle stance and roared, "Who goes there?" While the comments switched to full-blown sarcasm. "Oh boy, he gets caught the moment he walks in, just like I said. I told you he'd die right there." Seo-jun calmly replied, "Don't worry, I'm just starting to get the hang of it." All he got back were cold buckets of water from the harsh-as-hell comment section. "Nobody's worried about you, we're just here to watch you die for entertainment." Exactly. 3 seconds until he hits the floor while he's distracted. A guard raised his sword and lunged at him. "You there, step out right now!" In a split second, Seo-jun's eyes shifted into Slayer mode. With blinding speed, he used his sword to parry the opponent's bandit-like attack. And then, he smoothly countered the foolish soldier, sending him sprawling onto the cold ground in pain. That sudden turn of events immediately sent the viewers into a frenzy. "Oh my god, he should go buy a lottery ticket right now. Wait, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Did this noob just actually land a parry?" Seo-jun paused for a second. His hand tightened around the hilt, not out of worry but confusion, even as he handled the opponent out of habit. "In my previous life, I didn't even understand what just happened. Is it really this easy to die in this game?" The remaining guard, seeing his comrade sent to the afterlife so quickly, rushed at him as well. "You little brat!" Unfortunately, the result was the same. Seo-jun easily parried with his flimsy sword, but before taking out the opponent, he still had time to read the viewers' comments. "Wait, that's so sus. I swear I should have just bought a lottery ticket instead. A double parry. That's insane. What's so insane about it? It was clearly just a lucky break." The chat was split, leaving Seo-jun completely clueless with a blank face. Suddenly, the soldier he'd just pushed back. It struggled to get back up, which annoyed him, so he finished the job. After that, Seo-jun cleared his throat and spoke up, "Hey, everyone!" leaving the audience stunned. What? Who would have thought he'd ask such a basic, redundant question, what exactly is a parry? Just a split second later, the other person couldn't stop laughing as they typed back, "Are you kidding me? You just pulled that off? And you don't even know what a parry is." But when they saw Seo-jun answer seriously, "Yeah, that's right," everyone started making a fuss. "Oh man, you really are a natural genius. It was just luck." "What genius? That's exactly what a genius is." The noise from them made him sigh and tune it out. "Stop arguing and just explain it to me." That oblivious look on his face made the viewers both angry and amused. Look at his attitude, it's hilarious. I suddenly find myself wanting to help him. Stop fighting, everyone! Time ticked on for a while before an "Oh, I see" came from Seo-jun. He gently poked his makeshift illustration on the ground to demonstrate, so this is what you call a parry. It just means timing it right when the enemy lunges and swinging your sword down right. That stuns them, doesn't it? This left the viewers speechless. That was just to stun them, right? To make the viewers unable to hold back their reactions. I can't help but laugh at that ridiculous drawing style, but man, he's sharper than he looks. Even pro gamers who are usually full of themselves would be crying in the corner. Given how this game's parry mechanics work, that comment made Seo-jun frown, wondering, it's that tough even for the pros. Old 2 said a level 9 hybrid is basically on a pros level, so if the professionals are only around that mark, then that's probably the standard for everyone. No wonder people find it so hard. To pull off a successful parry, you have to read the enemy's attack direction perfectly and move your body in perfect sync. Suddenly, someone expresses some interest. After asking for confirmation, he says, "So do you understand how parrying works now?" Seo-jun nods quickly, just like a good little kid. Got it loud and clear? Who would have thought he'd get advice that was sincere, but aimed at the wrong person? You'd better turn back while you can, kid, or you're gonna get wrecked in a heartbeat. Seo-jun doesn't even think twice and takes a step forward. Why do that seems easy enough to me? Seo-jun's confident tone quickly makes the viewers mock him, but strangely, a more serious comment suddenly pops up. No, wait, I'm watching this very closely. That last movement definitely wasn't luck. But before he could even reply, other commentators jumped in with the heat. You think being rank 1 is a piece of cake? Who do you think you are? That's the greatest assassin in Korea. It wasn't luck, you idiot. What the hell do you know? The war of words in the comment section was unlike anything ever seen. Seo-jun can't help but let out a sigh. Poor guy, he only said one thing and got absolutely shredded for it. In my past life, I was exactly like that. Even when I crushed the disciples of major sects, they still looked down on me because I was a nobody without a backing. My strength was always ignored. Even though he knew things now weren't the same as back then before Seo-jun could think any further, a series of footsteps suddenly echoed, freezing him in his tracks. A group of soldiers alerted by the alarm ran out and stopped right in front of Seo-jun. Seeing their smug looks, he simply tightened his grip on his sword hilt. At the core, it's still the same. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Seo-jun immediately launched himself at the enemy at breakneck speed. Anyway, I'll just let the results speak for themselves. As soon as Seo-jun took down one guy, another appeared from above. He just tilted his body slightly, having already spotted the opponent's weak point. Then he quickly sliced across that soldier. That single moment of decisive action and agility made the audience gawk. What the hell was that? However, his battle wasn't over yet. The clanking of metal rang out continuously for a few short seconds, until the sound of the final hit echoed out. Only Seo-jun remained standing in the middle of that gloomy battlefield, yet he still swung his sword and turned around with such elegance, just to send the last fool to meet his friends in the afterlife. After only a few short moments, Seo-jun stood still, plunging his sword into the ground to take a break. Mid-round, under the blood-red moonlight, his soft voice sounded just like a demon coming to collect souls. If you want to catch me, you'd better bring the entire Shaolin Arhat formation. His cool demeanor quickly left the viewers stunned. Is this streamer using knee pads that Neil was so smooth? That's not the point. He just pulled off 4 parries in a row. Now are you curious who I am? Now are you curious who I am? Now are you curious who I am? While Seo-jun was busy reading comments, he spotted one last survivor. Damn it. Call for reinforcements fast. Before the guy could take a few steps, Seo-jun had already thrown his sword straight at him. It hit the dead center of the enemy's helmet. He let out a slow, heavy sigh like a reaper finishing his shift, his footsteps echoing with the crisp sound of life. In a space reeking of hell, Seo-jun calmly pulled his sword out and muttered, "And that's a wrap 6 down." The whole scene felt like a horror movie, leaving the viewers utterly bewildered. Wait a second, who even is this streamer? Is he really a beginner? Seo-jun replied sincerely. Well, yeah. You guys just saw how much I was struggling earlier, didn't you? The people who had been watching from the start started to change their tune. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I already told you so. Hold on. This guy couldn't even climb over a roof earlier, and now he's performing like this. I thought this was a stream for total noobs, but it turns out he's a hidden master. Vi, who is he? Who is he? Who is he? Seo-jun paused for a moment, then cleared his throat. The greatest assassin in Ko. Rhea, stop one more time and you're getting banned. The guy, desperate to see his skills, scrambled to respond, Yes, sir, clear. That obedient demeanor made Seo-jun feel a bit embarrassed. Thanks, you were the first person to recognize my strength. But he didn't expect that after such a heartwarming moment, some jerk would pipe up, Hey, you're working way too hard getting banned from this tiny channel. What is there to be afraid of anyway? If you're so tough, go ahead and ban me then. Announcing that user Lee Hyuk 1644 has been kicked from the room. Seo-chun's calm voice as he finished the job gave the viewers a good laugh as they bid the guest farewell. That reflex speed is truly top tier. His physical instincts are terrifying. This will go down in history, the first ban of Season 1. I'm honestly jealous. With skills like this, he's bound to get famous fast. Getting banned now just means you'll regret it later. He glanced quickly at the comments and sighed silently to himself, thinking, This is a good sign, right? Am I actually doing a good job? It's hard to say. In my past life, I never dared to express myself because my low-born status kept me suppressed by the noble, righteous factions, so I never truly belonged anywhere. But talent cannot be hidden, and in the end, I still became the lone sword god. If Seo-chun's juniors could hear these inner thoughts, they'd just burst into tears and beg, Please just stop, Hyung. You're talking absolute nonsense. Do you even know how hard we had to work to clean up the mess you left behind? Ha ha ha. The esteemed senior Seo-chun wouldn't even listen to that. It went in one ear and out the other. The moment of reminiscing about the past quickly ended, as curious comments started popping up and they were serious about it. How are you so good at parrying? Seriously, is there a trick to it? Your hands are like lightning. When Seo-chun fumbled and opened his mouth to answer, the viewers were already anxiously urging him to spill the beans. What is it? What's the secret technique? Come on, tell us. Oh my god, I'm so excited, I'm getting dizzy. Who would have thought this guy would spout something that sounded like he was delirious? Just remember your past life's tragic fate and it's easy, right? Or, just look closely at the enemy's attack and swing straight down from above, that's all. That way of talking made the viewers visibly furious. As if I didn't know that. As if I didn't know that. Are you trolling us or what? Someone get me a pitchfork. Such a thick-skinned guy. Seo-chun felt the viewer's anger rising and just muttered to himself, I tried to explain it deeply and yet you guys are still yelling at me. Suddenly, the frantic shouting of the guards started ringing out, The intruder is over here! While he just calmly mumbled, Well, they've all gathered, someone quickly explained, based on the streamer's previous expertise. If you stand still in one spot for too long, you end up surrounded like this. In just a split second, Seo-chun was surrounded by a squad from the mansion. The viewers saw this and immediately started making rude remarks. Just hurry up and die so we can get past the tutorial. Who do you think you are to think you can win? Atose made Seo-chun feel a bit miffed, and he smirked. Everyone a newbie just pulled off 13 consecutive parries. Don't you want to see if you can do that? At the moment, Seo-chun confidently made his declaration to the livestream viewers. The screams of the NPC guards echoed once again nearby. Eliminate the intruder, quick. There's only one of them. Don't be afraid! The armored feet thundered as they circled around to trap him without a single blind spot trying to overwhelm his vision. Unfortunately for them, the person they were facing was none other than Seo-chun, the former sword god who possessed calmness beyond anyone's imagination. He easily grasped every opening and swung his blade decisively, but the sheer number of the Earl's guards was overwhelming. One would fall and another would rush in. However, for someone like him, it wasn't a major problem. At that moment, his sharp eyes flicked to the rear and he gracefully lowered his center of gravity. He successfully evaded the sharp blade from a guard trying to ambush him. This move caused quite a crisis for the viewers. Oh my god, does he have eyes in the back of his head? Is this streamer a hidden pro or something? What is going on? Even a pro wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. Seo-chun's elusiveness only fueled the screaming rage of the NPC guards. You bastard! Without a hint of panic or hesitation, he didn't use his feet to run away, but used them to pivot off the ground, and then, as the possessor of the Dawn Assassin class, Seo-chun played it by facing the guards' brutal assault head-on, with a performance that could defeat even an Aishin Hazen. At level 10, of course, the NPCs in front of him could only be pushed back by him. There was nothing surprising about it. With one clean sword swing, Seo-chun successfully harvested the heads of 2 opponents. Not a flicker of difficulty showed in his eyes. He was even relaxed enough to let a soft smirk play on his lips. And at that exact moment he smiled. In the space owned by the boss Itoze, this sight made one viewer go crazy. That's insane. That person is none other than Choam. What the hell is this? His in-game ID is the undefeated assassin of Korea. Is he actually a newbie? From the username he chose to his actions on famous forums, he's a die-hard fan of the Dawn Assassin squad through and through. When the developers announced the core rules in that high-energy midnight press conference, his whole vibe was just pure stealth and assassination, completely ditching the slash-and-burn playstyle. Sure, if you think you're good, go ahead and try it, but just attempting that playstyle is a total nightmare. The moment he heard that, Joam, who is obsessed with the slash-and-burn playstyle, more than anyone went crazy. The increased difficulty just fueled his desire to conquer it. But things are never that easy. The sharp spike in difficulty left most players bitter and helpless the moment they saw the dreaded message. Game over again and again. But thanks to that, some weird tricks were discovered like, hey guys, turns out if you just blow up the whole building, the mission is complete. That's assassination for you. And over here, there's another unique method thanks to pure memory. You just memorize the boss's mechanics and it's a piece of cake. As long as the thing explodes at the right time, the boss is done for. This game is absolutely insane and it doesn't stop there. There are even people getting creative with the most time-consuming strategy ever. I've been hiding for 3 hours and the target still hasn't come out, which had the viewers trolling in the comments. Are you so free that you've been watching this for 3 hours? You're a tanker, right? Please go spend that time researching something else instead. It's safe to say that no matter which streamer Joam watched, he had never seen a truly high-level sweep. He could only tell himself, I guess that's what hell mode is really like, can't blame them. But just then, the light from Seojun's decisive strikes lit up Joam's life. The thrill was so intense that tears of emotion welled up in his eyes. That's it. This is what a real slash-and-burn playstyle should look like. And after all that, the owner of an unknown nameless live stream, none other than Seojun, whom he'd clicked on by accident, was executing the exact brutal slash-and-burn style he had been searching for all this time. Excitement coursed through Joam's body and the words just poured out of his mouth. That's it. That's exactly it. It's right there. And he didn't stop there. He started spamming the chat to show his devotion. How far ahead were you thinking, Master? You are the greatest legend in the history of the Assassin Squad. You're the master of my heart. Back to Seojun, his powerful sequence of moves caused the enemy soldiers heavy losses. They collapsed, scattered across the cold concrete floor. At this very moment, Seojun had truly conquered the hearts of the viewers on the other side of the screen. Sweep aura, sweep aura, sweep aura, sweep aura. Are these mortal eyes of mine worthy of witnessing this? Streamer, are you hacking? Seeing the comments rolling in, Seojun couldn't help but wonder, why is everyone making such a big deal out of this? I'm just dodging what needs to be dodged and blocking what needs to be blocked. Hearing those calm words from Seojun, the chat flooded with frantic questioning. Are you kidding me? Are you insane? You're funny, man. You think we don't know that watching this live stream is causing me deep psychological damage? After being pestered by so many fans, he bluntly announced, if you don't like it, I'm turning off the stream. Bye. The comments instantly changed their tone. Wait, Master. I didn't say anything. Big brother, please don't. Why are you like this? Even though the number was small, Seojun had successfully received positive recognition for his first stream. Oh, all 6 viewers followed me, not bad. Just as he was busy feeling sentimental, a massive explosion erupted right before his eyes. After that intense destruction, we saw someone's leather-clad feet. Below in the comments, now the real thing starts. Finally, it was time for the boss fight, but in a flash, the opponent didn't even bother to hold back, aggressively hurling a ball of death towards Seojun. Luckily, the damage hit the ground beneath him because he dodged just in time, leaving the viewers in shock. How did he dodge that? His reflex speed is insane. That last move was lightning fast. Despite the scene, Itoze, the final boss, was acting arrogant as per the standard trope. You look like a scared rat scurrying around. The viewers couldn't help but complain, how do you expect him to win this fight? Ugh, my ears! The boss's roar was terrifying at the same time. Seojun didn't bother standing there watching the screen or listening to him blather. He instantly lunged forward, closing the distance between himself and Itoze. With a smooth, agile leap, Seojun lunged forward without a hint of hesitation or caution, driving his sharp steel blade straight toward his opponent's neck. But he only landed 5 points of damage. The blow was so slight that the guy just stumbled for a split second, his head still firmly attached, and in the very next moment, Itoze turned back with a grin stretching from ear to ear, sneering, "What kind of fancy footwork are you trying to pull, kid?" his sharp brows knitting tightly together. Now Seo-jun finally understood the gravity of the situation. The boss's health bar had barely budged a true boss indeed, and as he showed his intense thirst for learning, he decisively posed a question to the viewers. "Hey chat, can you parry this spiked mace or what?" They immediately fired back, "Of course not. Are you trying to one-shot the boss or something? What's with this typo blood power?" Ito's didn't care at all about the players rambling. He had only one goal. It was to show off what he held in his hands. "You ignorant brat, I'll let you taste the absolute power of this spiked mace." Utilizing his massive, newly acquired body, he proved exactly what overwhelming power looked like against a Seo-jun with agile moves, yet he also indirectly proved that his massive size didn't affect his attack speed one bit. And so the destruction of Ito's own property continued wave after wave, as Seo-jun dodged without breaking a sweat or wasting energy, realizing he still hadn't dealt any real damage to him. The guy remained as confident as ever, as if victory were already in the bag. Seeing a momentary opening where the opponent paused, Seo-jun decisively launched himself up again with a superhuman jump, but unfortunately it was even worse than before. Just now, the damage he dealt to the boss was only 3 points, and he even had to endure the guy's arrogance. "Useless. This body of mine won't fall." At that same moment, the spiked stone mace belonging to Itoze smashed straight into the chandelier hanging above. Luckily, Seo-jun managed to dodge in time and landed on the floor looking completely unfazed. Just as predicted, the damage was still way too low. However, the slow pace was starting to annoy his constantly churning brain. "At this rate, will I even finish in time?" Seo-jun's concerns were confirmed when a viewer with the ID, "The Greatest Man in My Life," chimed in, saying that once you face Itoze, if you don't take him down within 5 minutes, then you've lost immediately. That successfully made his face shift into a look of shock, as that time limit was far too short. What the? And it was thanks to this that he finally noticed the black countdown clock displaying 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Since when was that there? While he was stunned, because of the sudden turn of events, Itoze's attack whistled right past Seo-jun's ear. He really lived up to his name as an NPC final boss. No matter how much he moved, he never seemed to get tired, his mouth never stopping its grin even for a second. "Kid, you're in a fight. Where are you looking?" The golden pupils, characteristic of Seo-jun's dark character, narrowed tightly with every line of thought. At this rate, there was no way he could finish it off before the time ran out. Now, the system clock only showed 3 minutes and 42 seconds. In his eyes, he had to aim his sword straight at the weak point. There had to be some trick to this. Choam quickly transformed into a helpful little fan, offering a solution to his new idol, Master. "If you keep attacking the same spot, the damage will stack. That's the current theory from the community. That's the only way." Observing the seemingly viable strategy, Seo-jun couldn't help but nod. After pondering for a second, he thought, "Just keep hitting the same spot, huh? Well, might as well give it a shot." The moment he pushed off to move, he didn't forget to say, "Thanks, Korea's champion assassin. Thanks for the tip." It didn't take long for Seo-jun to close the gap with the tough enemy again. This time, his determination and goal successfully helped him chip away 70 points from the enemy. The audience immediately erupted, "Oh my God, his health dropped by a huge chunk! Choam was right!" And at this moment, Seo-jun landed on the floor and concluded, "So focusing on one spot is the key." But now Itoze's expression no longer held the mockery it did just minutes ago. It was filled with nothing but pure fury gritted through his teeth. "You little brat!" Although he had discovered the breakthrough, the battle was nearing its end with only 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. "Not much time left. I can't let him catch his breath." After stealing his resolve, Seo-jun decisively lunged forward and grabbed Itoze's weapon, directly causing the guy to panic and turn pale while the viewers cried out in shock. No way. He's actually overpowering the boss. The wide-scale battle instantly turned into a test of who had the stronger grip. With a guttural growl, the guy spat out, "You little rat." Of course, Itoze wasn't about to just stand there. He decisively swung his free fist in a prepared strike. "Get your filthy hands off my weapon. Move." His rage surged like a volcano erupting with hot lava. "You bastard!" However, Seo-jun clearly knew how to finish off his opponent, so he didn't let go, even though the clock read 1 minute and 7 seconds. He wasn't about to give the enemy another chance to counterattack. The slashes he dealt, damaging for 200, then 500, rained down on the boss so fast that the viewers had to speak up. "I truly apologize. Itoze, is that reflex speed actually human?" After a series of fierce and incredibly precise strikes, everyone was stunned, unable to hold back their shock. Are you kidding me? He's still not out of health yet? Seeing the follow-up question in the comments, Seo-chun immediately took notice and didn't forget to respond, "Yeah, needs one more hit." And someone excitedly shouted, "One final blow. Let's go, guys." And then with the countdown clock at 0 minutes and 51 seconds, the final bloody strike was unleashed, officially sealing the fate of the boss. The impact was massive, sending tremors through the mansion under the eerie, ominous red sky, shaking the entire area violently, even though the player Seo-chun had already taken him down to advance the plot. But Itose was still conscious enough to roar fiercely at the hypocritical lackeys of the assassination squad. Then he decisively tore apart the paper he'd just pulled from his pocket. As he let it go, he declared, "I'm not dying alone here." This very scene marked the moment his tutorial mission reached completion. Meanwhile, some viewer somewhere was scrolling wildly on their computer screen, watching videos of Seo-chun's epic display going viral all over social media, with catchy headlines like, "Newbie's first match crushing the tutorial with a 13-1 slaughter, the first player in the universe to defeat. Itose verified, no fakes, no staging." Under the starry night sky, the high-rise building still had lights blazing, showing its owner hadn't gone to bed yet. Deep inside, exclamations kept echoing as the person kept scrolling, "Oh my god, this is mind-blowing," and the opponent none other than Joe Am. They still couldn't stop the excitement. "I can't believe I got to see the first ever clear with my own eyes." At that moment, the scene shifted back to the tremors from the mansion caused by Itose. It was all happening right in front of him. Despite the fresh, bright red syrup, blood pouring out of his wounds, he still had enough strength to shout challenges at those hypocritical squad assassins, and it didn't stop there. As a count, Itose obviously had a backup plan via the scroll he'd just torn up, and so the anomaly officially began. At that moment, Seo-chun couldn't help but be startled by what hit his eyes. That thing was... A series of magic circles, glowing red and orange, appeared, covering both of them in every direction. Clearly, Itose had gone mad from his own defeat. He had decided to blow everything up to drag his enemy down with him. Unfortunately for him, the player Seo-chun possessed high agility and speed enough to escape at the last second. The moment he reached a safe distance, he couldn't help but curse the boss in his mind. That bastard Itose just used a self-destruct spell, and it was precisely because of this terrifying sound that the guards were immediately drawn in, rushing toward him, screaming, "Over there! The assassin is over there!" Beneath a perfectly round, blood-red moon, Seo-chun knew he couldn't fight enemies from 4 sides, so he decisively turned and ran amidst the roaring shouts behind him. "Catch that assassin now!" After a dramatic turn through the vast space, he finally reached a dense forest filled with thick fog and leaves. But no matter how quiet it was around him, it couldn't stop Seo-chun's feet. They didn't stop moving for a second. His decision not to pause was truly wise. Right at the moment, an enemy arrow whizzed toward him. With sharp instincts, he quickly realized the killing intent approaching his back at high speed. Unfortunately, right as he stood before a towering abyss, Seo-chun was hit. For a brief moment, there was no doubt. He just let himself fall freely into the vast expanse, a look of surprise plain on his face. And now, the brilliant moonlight still shone silently, but the distance between it and Seo-chun was so far he would never be able to reach it. A bead of sweat silently trickled down his cheek. Even in such a dangerous situation, his gaze remained calm, as if none of this had anything to do with him. No surprise rescue arrived for Seo-chun in the nick of time. Finally, he ended his night in the fast-flowing river as time slowly drifted into the dark, grueling night. After the sun finally woke up, taking over for the moon that had hung high all night after a long, aimless journey, the water finally brought Seo-chun's motionless body to the soil covered in tree shadows. From his own slender hand, blood slowly dripped down, mixing with the water below. At that moment, the space plunged into silence, as if bidding farewell when someone's footsteps slowly pressed against the grass, moving forward. Soon, the person closed the distance to the one lying there lifeless. There wasn't the slightest bit of confusion about the owner of that body, or why he was lying there. He simply crouched down gently, and then took an eagle-shaped badge from Seo-chun's clothes, reflecting the brilliant golden sunlight of the early morning. It made it stand out against the surrounding scenery. A smirk tugged at his lips. The person covered head to toe in black wasn't anyone else, but Seo-chun himself. He should have been in the original body, but to serve the game's objectives, the system had transferred his consciousness to the player character. Who would have thought this cool reappearance? Would have SSS-Chun's veteran livestream viewers complaining and crying, "This cutscene is exactly the same as always, isn't it? He has to die every single time." At that point, he flatly declared with a calm expression, "If it were me, I would have blocked that arrow." What a pity. The audience immediately jumped in. "You're so full of it, man. But the bitter part is, I totally believe you could do it." "Oh, my friend, you really are a braggart." This made SSS-Chun laugh out loud, truly a rain of criticism, and then as the conversation dragged on, so he just gave a sharp, loud clap of his hands. Then SSS-Chun firmly steered the conversation back to the main point, asking the screen floating in his vision, "So what do I do next?" Immediately, an experienced player chimed in, "Go to the tavern and talk to Rieta." He repeated the name as if to confirm it, "Rieta, huh?" And then he looked up. Right before SSS-Chun's eyes was a sign featuring a beer mug and the sun, and thinking back that cutscene from earlier. Dead must have teleported him straight to the tavern. Without a hint of hesitation, he walked right up to the door and pulled it open, as if stepping into an entirely different world filled with the buzz of lively conversation. A stark contrast to the silence outside the place was packed with chatter, and Rieta stood out like a ray of sunlight, her golden hair reflecting the soft light around her. Faced with such a brilliant figure, SSS-Chun couldn't help but gasp internally. His brain was processing the info perfectly. "Yep, looking at this interface, I definitely need to go talk to her." Closing the distance, he successfully caught the attention of the server standing behind the bar, and noticing the gentle curve forming on SSS-Chun's lips, Rieta slowly delivered her line, "May I help you with something?" With a laid-back look on his face, he answered honestly with a sharp nod. "Help? Oh, I need help, all right. I need a lot of things, actually." The moment he held up the badge that belonged to the knight character he had once embodied, SSS-Chun couldn't help but be speechless in his own mind, because the dialogue for that earlier performance had just triggered on its own. Meanwhile, Rita Nako's aqua magic eyes widened intensely as she spotted the hawk badge which had been cleaning the cup in her hand. Shuddering violently and struggling to keep her composure, my eyebrows furrowed deeply as my tone grew heavier than ever while I asked those three words. "Who are you?" I wore the perfect smile of a mysterious, powerful character. Clearly, SSS-Chun was under the system's control, so there was no need to be on guard. "I'm only here because I thought I could help you." But unable to process what she'd just heard, Rita hesitated and countered, "What do you mean by that?" Not wanting to beat around the bush, I cut straight to the point with my next sentence. "Just assume I'm quite confident in my assassination skills." After a long moment of contemplation following that answer, the panic finally faded from her expression. In its place was a solemn look. "Wait, are you someone from the West?" Seeing her press for an answer with such a definitive tone, I didn't hesitate to admit it. "That's right. Have you heard of me?" To fit the game's plot, my persona was built as a textbook mercenary. At least from Rita's perspective, rumor had it he was a hired gun. He'd take any job for the right price, so he definitely wasn't part of the cult. After a long analysis in her processing unit, she gave a slight nod, essentially making her decision. "Fine. At least we should exchange names, right? I'm Rita." Facing this perfectly reasonable request, I regained control of my body. I opened my mouth to say, "I am," but before I could finish, the system popped up a blank window with the prompt, "What is your name?" and a submit button below. The viewers who had been following my journey from the start couldn't help but be surprised. "Wait, he's finally picking a username. Hold on, is Shin Seojun your real name?" Actually, that sounds pretty decent. Ignoring the comments, I fell into deep thought. My current live streamer name was set as Chin Seojun. Since I hadn't set a nickname at the start, the system had just used my real name. It seemed like the safe bet. Using my real name was fine. However, when the answer to Rita's question left my lips, it was a completely different title, Nameless. Without a shred of hesitation, I flashed a grin, white teeth so bright they could be in a toothpaste commercial, and emphasized it again. "My name is Nameless." The viewers watching couldn't help but yell, "Wait, seriously, you're actually naming yourself Nameless? Is he really that lazy when it comes to thinking of names?" They had no idea my brain had slipped into old memories. It might sound a bit silly now, but in my past life, this name, Nameless, was legendary. That's the wuxia style for you. Everyone would compete to claim the name I had chosen. "I am Nameless. And I'm Nameless number 2. The corners of my lips curled up. It means you don't have a name, but it sounds cool and mysterious. It was incredibly popular back then. After I entered the two characters, I decided on the system did its job and confirmed, "Do you want to use the name Nameless?" Once I confirmed by pressing yes, the notification board updated again. "You can now accept assassination requests at the Sunshine Tavern." Following that, Rita continued her role as the NPC guide. All right, so Nameless it is. To keep the story moving, I asked the logical question for the situation: how will we stay in touch from now on? She slowly raised her hand to the hawk badge on her chest before answering. "Before we talk about that," she put on a cold, professional mask, but a flicker of emotion shone in her sharp eyes the moment she finished the sentence. "I need to know," and the achievements of the owner of this pin. But the viewers only saw her cold side and started sobbing. "Rita is so mean!" Those comments didn't affect my reply. "I buried him at the West Docks." Her body stiffened for a second, but she quickly responded, "I understand." Not dwelling on the topic, she handed me a flower-shaped badge. It had a shine that rivaled the hawk pin from before. "Use this to contact me from now on." The moment I received the item, the system popped up a status update. "You have obtained a signal stone." Immediately after, Rita spoke in a soft tone, one reserved only for me, emphasizing every word. "I'm counting on you, Nameless." After a long conversation, I'd finally achieved my goal, so I left the tavern to return to the familiar quiet void. A moment later, I rubbed my shoulder and let out a sigh of relief. Got the signal stone. He rubbed his shoulders for a moment, letting out a sigh of relief now that he'd finally gotten the green light. I guess that wraps up the mission for today. A user named Patient Riding a White Horse immediately popped up and asked, "So from now on, should we just call you Unknown during your live streams?" It wasn't really something worth worrying about, so Seo-chun agreed flat out. "I haven't thought of a cool name yet, so you guys can call me whatever you want for now." Of course, this part couldn't be skipped. Chwam had become a die-hard fan. Oh Man Unknown. That's the perfect name for a top-tier assassin, because he'd stayed in the VR pod. For so long to clear the tutorial, he immediately chose to end the stream under the soft sunlight. All right, that's enough. I'll go ahead and end the stream here. I'll be back at this same time tomorrow. The viewers who stayed until the very end were cheering, saying the first stream was a huge success. Bye-bye, 22. This was his first time actually interacting with strangers through a screen, so he couldn't help but feel a bit shy as he slowly waved his hand to sign off the stream. However, Seo-chun really had a knack for drawing in views. With a bit of comedic timing, he asked, "Wait, are you guys really all leaving just like that?" The guy, Patient Riding a White Horse, replied instantly, "We're turning off the machine and logging out. Where else would we go, you weirdo?" The moment he turned into a beam of light and nearly vanished, he didn't forget to ask one thing. "Does it save the game automatically?" This made the viewers who hadn't left the stream chat yet swear this guy is hilarious until the very last second. Good lord, this newbie is ridiculously cute. But no matter what, this live stream had officially come to an end. At the moment, Seo-chun returned to the room with the lights still on in the dark night. He looked at the number displayed on the electronic screen along with the notice that the broadcast had ended. He couldn't help but ponder, then blurted out, "Wait, all 6 viewers stayed until the very last second." He remembered the IDs that had left such a distinct impression on him. Even Seo-chun had to admit their usernames were pretty unique. The next moment, something caught his attention. It was a player named Future Light. He didn't know why, but they had joined Seo-chun's broadcast room. Is this a Clearing Play live stream channel? So the newcomer, who wasn't as experienced as him, felt confused. Wait, I didn't see any notification for this earlier, did I? And since the view count seemed to be climbing steadily, Seo-chun grew even more suspicious. Whenever it ends, why do people keep coming in? I clearly already turned off the stream, so how? The shocking live stream from Seo-chun had the phone screen flickering constantly with a flood of comments and hot topics about Unknown climbing straight to the top. The quiet room became noticeably rowdier. Lying on the bed scrolling through the reactions while casually swiping through the chat that was moving at a dizzying speed, Kim too couldn't help but exclaim, "The response to today's live stream isn't bad at all, man. What kind of content should I do tomorrow?" Just as he was lost in thought, the door suddenly burst open. Seo-chun shoved his way in and yelled with intensity, "Hey, Kim too!" The phone in his hand. The phone in his immediately slammed right into his nose. "Damn it, you scared the hell out of me!" Clutching his face after taking a direct hit from his own device, he gritted his teeth in frustration. Did you eat your manners for dinner today or what? Ignoring the fact that his friend was about to lose it, Seo-chun immediately shoved his black phone toward him with a confused look, as he was just a total rookie in this business. Why did it turn out like this? Tu looked up, puzzled. What do you mean? He pointed at the screen, which was continuously flooding with countless player accounts and endless comments. He voiced what he was suspicious about. Why is the chat still going crazy even though I turned off the stream? Witnessing his friend hit it big firsthand, Tu fell into a daze for a moment before blurting out, "Are you for real?" After checking back and forth and scrolling through the trending posts on the forum, Tu finally spoke up. I think it's because of this." As he said that, he turned the phone screen towards Seo-chun. Then he flatly asked, with an affirming tone, "This is you, right?" On the handheld device was a video recording of him clearing the Dawn of the Assassination Squad stage titled A Newbie's Shocking Feat. Tanking and clearing 13 monsters at once during the tutorial stage, seeing the share count skyrocket and the comment section as lively as an online marketplace, Tu immediately looked envious. "How are you so good at this? You just started today and already have fans helping you promote it." Meanwhile, Seo-chun was clueless because he didn't understand the new slang. Promote Leng Se. Seeing that he hadn't caught on yet, he pointed directly at the post. He frowned and emphasized each word. If this isn't promoting, then what is? By now, the comments had reached 154. This guy's skills are absolutely insane. He cleared the boss room like he was playing Romance of the Three Kingdoms. His tanking is top tier, seriously top tier. After watching this, I guarantee no one can ever copy these skills. Look at that move there. He's a living legend. I want to promote this guy so badly. I want to share this with everyone. This is insane. Seo-chun suddenly recognized one of them. The best assassin in Korea isn't that the viewer from earlier. Grabbing the phone back from his hand, Tu directly assessed the situation. At this rate, you're about to hit 30,000 likes. That's right, relying on his own experience as a streamer. He grinned with excitement, knowing that once he hit 30 views, he'd be pushed straight to the front page. His follower count would skyrocket, and he didn't even forget to give a thumbs up. Thumbs up in approval, even with heavy dark circles under his eyes. Go to sleep, man. You spent all night grinding that stream. It was a bit lame, but Seo-jun just replied indifferently, "Sleep. What's the point of sleeping now?" Even though he said that the sky was already full of stars, and Seo-jun was still lying there scrolling on his phone because, in truth, this experience was still fresh to him, even after all his time spent observing. He wasn't bored at all, just kept muttering, "Look at that, the support count is climbing again." So this is the kind of lagging he was talking about. Since it was getting late, Seo-jun decided not to dig any deeper, carelessly putting his phone on the table. Guess I'll see what happens tomorrow. The very moment the room fell silent beneath that video, there were still countless likes and comments pouring in as if no one ever took a break. The next morning, the first rays of the sun pierced through the clouds covering the high-rise buildings. Crowded together, the glass facades reflected brilliant light across the sky, witnessing the series of posts and topics hitting the top search results that Seo-jun couldn't help but acknowledge. Just as Kim Tu predicted, the support count had surpassed 30. Relying on his own calculating logical mind, he couldn't help but feel anxious instead of happy. Anything that gets a little hot always brings arguments and factions. As he kept scrolling down to read, his sharp eyes suddenly stopped midway. As if caught by something, the mouse in his hand immediately zipped back up to the post that had just appeared. This is the Assassination Squad forum, but why is everyone posting about the training area too? Once he clicked, the full post appeared clearly with the title, "Why is the new level 10 AI so frustrating?" Everyone knows the level 10 AI has been changed from God-fixed data to another player's data, right? The username is Nameless, I think. Everyone's curious about who Nameless is, but I want to talk about its personality. I watched a clip of a guy I know fighting it. Here's the clip. I got permission from the owner before posting, by the way. Sweat trickled down his cheek. Seo-jun himself was quite surprised because that AI was clearly modeled after him. Personality, he thought, meanwhile. The original poster continued their long rant about the AI. Shin Ha-seon, back in the day, if you dropped your sword, it would wait for you, right? It would just stand there quietly waiting for the player to continue after being defeated or hit. But since meeting this level 10 guy set up with Seo-jun's attributes, this Nameless AI, the second it sees the player's guard drop, this jerk lunges at them like it struck gold. As soon as a player shows an opening, it beats them to a pulp no matter how much you scream, "I surrender." It doesn't even stop there. This AI is so provocative, waving its hand to signal you to come on. Everyone who's met it has been screaming. It even shows open contempt. And it didn't just affect one person. A flurry of furious comments bombarded Seo-jun. Regarding the rotten attitude of the new level 10 AI, he suddenly remembered. I guess I was just chatting with Tu while playing, so it ended up like that. Plus, when I was updating the data, it felt like such a repetitive grind, so I got bored and stopped putting in any real effort. Thinking about it, I'm being a bit unfairly framed. Even though he had only entered the game, for less than a day, Seojun had already been labeled a toxic player who loves to troll, which made him feel truly hurt and wronged. While the forum was still split arguing, a social media account suddenly left a comment that caught his attention. Just watched the clip at the training area and came here. Can I ask, is that really Mr. Nameless? Reading this, Seojun hesitated for a moment. Someone already guessed it. But as soon as he looked closely at the username of the commenter, all his tension instantly vanished. Ugh, it's that old man Joam again, the top assassin of Korea. Does that guy have a godlike intuition or something? At this point, he was starting to get a little spooked. Leaning back in his chair, watching the comments keep climbing, he silently reevaluated everything. Honestly, he hadn't expected to get this much attention. Closing his eyes for a few brief seconds, Seojun felt the pressure of sudden fame for the first time. Receiving something too massive too quickly wasn't necessarily a good thing. However, that thought only lasted for a fleeting moment before he quickly pushed it aside. Hadn't the experience from his past life already taught him that lesson? Opening the lid of the VR machine beside his desk, Seojun calmly reached a conclusion for himself. Power, when one isn't ready for it, is nothing but poison. Sitting inside the pod to prepare for logging into the game, he firmly set his resolve, just like this, slow but steady, and then the consciousness transmission system began its work. The moment Seojun's eyes closed, in the very next instant, his eyes opened again. Filled with the resolve and sharpness of the sword god, having been through so many small and large events, improving a little bit every day was enough. The final characters faded, and at that very moment, the system's light flickered, a clear sign that it was finally operating at full capacity. Glancing at his live stream page, he saw the counter had reached 432. He had to admit, just as he said, the follower count was visibly climbing. He stared at the stream of data scrolling before him, the corners of his mouth curling up slightly, as memories of yesterday bubbled up, though he couldn't help but think about the actual number of live viewers. Yesterday there were only 6 souls, but he didn't linger in the waiting room. He firmly clicked the broadcast button, wondering how many people would show up today. As soon as the live stream button was triggered, the system interface flashed, and a notification appeared right in the center of the screen. Shin Seo-chun has started broadcasting. Immediately after this game officially launched, showing the first introduction to a place completely different from the Assassin Squad's dawn as he entered the city of Iteon. Low dramatic music swelled as a majestic ancient castle appeared before him. The setting for this game was the city of Iteon, where players had to carry out their missions. The system didn't forget to provide extra data to clarify things. The place was divided into 4 main districts, with the royal palace reserved for the nobility. Along with the highest-ranking authorities, the upper tower was where the priests and mages resided. The high-class district was for the nobles, and the slums lay on the city's outskirts. Intended for commoners and all sorts of people struggling to make a living, Seojun's mind was racing. Players could take assassination missions anywhere. But he heard that in practice, you could still go around assassinating people randomly without taking a mission first. Once the introductory information finished, his journey in Iteon officially began, and the moment he regained control of his body from the system, he raised his hand and waved at the screen. Hello, live streamers. The chat box, which had been quiet, suddenly exploded like a kicked beehive. I finally made it into the room. Let's go, guys. So he finally got into this legendary live stream channel. Oh, wait, so it's not Choam's channel. I've got goosebumps. Oh, anonymous master. While the viewers were spamming like crazy, one confused account suddenly popped up. Is this really the live stream channel of that famous Choam guy? Less than a second later, another person jumped in to refute it harshly. No, dude, you're in the wrong place. This is insane. Seo-chun just laughed calmly. He casually explained briefly, that's right, this isn't Choam's channel, folks. And just to clarify, I didn't bribe him or anything. His comment made them burst into laughter, killing the debate in an instant, just as the atmosphere was lighthearted. A donation notification suddenly appeared in the middle of the screen. How on earth am I supposed to do this? I've donated 10,000 won. I watched your clip and tried to solo the Itozi, but I couldn't beat it. What should I do now? I'll be holding my breath, waiting for your answer. Looking at the donation money appearing in front of him, he raised an eyebrow, feeling touched. My first donation ever. But why are you going into the woods like that? However, not wanting to dwell on it for too long and sticking to the principle of, if you get paid, you have to deliver, he didn't hesitate to give advice. Thanks for the donation. About what you asked. The Itoze. You just need to keep aiming for the same spot and attack. Easy right. The result was a few seconds of awkward silence in the chat, followed by an immediate explosion. What is the teacher writing on the board? Does that guide actually help? As someone who's been watching since yesterday, I advise you guys not to ask this guy anything 10,001 down the drain just like that. Seeing their comments, he couldn't help but fall into deep thought, realizing they donated for the first time and my answer was a bit vague, wasn't it? So Seo-chun rubbed his chin for a moment and then spoke up. All right. To offer a useful tip, he visualized the monster's weaknesses, the shoulders, the head, and the groin, and then tipped them off. It's best to aim straight for the vital points. When an NPC gets hit there, they'll panic and lose their footing. Finally, he summarized the trick for Itose. Just keep hitting one spot, strike the weak point when it's open, and dodge quickly. As soon as he finished speaking, an account named Done Playing donated 1,001. I can breathe again. Others chimed in, that's amazing. But Seo-chun looked confused. Congratulations, my friend. It didn't stop there. He scrolled through the IDs that had just commented, looking suspicious. Taking a closer look, he saw many unfamiliar names he'd never seen before. How many people are watching today? His fingers froze in midair when he saw the incredible number on the screen. 327 people are watching live. The chat urged him on. This feels like a dream. When are you going to post the guide for us? Or is my internet just lagging? He, however, was in no mood to worry about the 327 people. Even Seo-chun, who had been through countless events in his past life, couldn't help but break into a cold sweat. In this life, there are way more people than I imagined. I thought at most I'd get around 100. Let's drop that for now. He looks around nervously and asks with curiosity. All right, guys, what should we do today? Any suggestions from the fans? The chat on the other side of the screen starts spamming requests. Do a Three Kingdoms-style sweep. Finally, I'm gonna see some sword fighting in this stream. Watching them bicker and get all hyped up in the comments, he chuckles, amused. Man, these little brats sure know how to have fun. Please, no fighting in the chat, okay? Just then, a user drops a more practical idea. Forget those guys above, just wander around and see what's what. Or if you want some quick cash, take a job from the Assassin's Guild. Or maybe just pick some pockets. Otherwise, just go sightseeing in the city. Awesome. Now that's the true open-world experience right there. Every comment makes sense, leaving Seo-chun a bit torn. Too many options, too little time. As if a sudden thought hits him. His lips curl into a mischievous smirk. All right, then. Let's start right here in the middle of the busy street. Seo-chun makes a bold decision. Let's do a little light pocket picking just to warm up, shall we? The enthusiastic shouts echo through the small street. Super cheap! Get it while it's cheap! Come check out these rare goods, folks. Mommy, buy me this. Suddenly, an old man appears, causing a commotion. Get out of the way, can't you? He's caught off guard as a dark figure zips past him. Then he turns around and yells aggressively, Hey! You watch where you're going! Jerk! Are you blind or what? Even after the person is long gone, the old man's insults still echo through the street. You little brat, Seo-chun isn't even mad. He just weaves through the crowd with expert skill. He flashes a satisfied smile. I tried applying some grappling techniques, and man, who knew it would be this easy. That's 3 pockets picked in a row. The comment section instantly explodes. Wait, is this a martial arts stream or a street thief simulator? What kind of streamer is this? Did he grow up on the streets? I heard he isekai'd from a martial arts world. A fan laughs, adding, the best part of pocket picking is getting chased by the guards. That only makes Seo-chun more confident. At this rate, he'll never have to worry about starving. He shows off his pouches overflowing with gold, leaving everyone stunned. Damn, boss has already made enough to buy a luxury apartment. Suddenly, a deep voice breaks the quiet atmosphere. Hey, you little punk, stop right there. A tall figure. Who knows when he snuck up on Seo-chun's territory? He looks suspicious and probing. Me, Seo-chun asks, feigning annoyance. Yeah, you look like you've been making a killing today, huh? The guy slowly walks closer, implying, you know, if you want to do business on this turf, you need our permission, right? Seo-chun maintains a calm expression. Business. He gets straight to the point. You mean this? The thug looks thrilled. Yeah, exactly that. The thug puts on a sly face and suggests, you've been making a tidy profit, haven't you? How about sharing some of that with us? Seo-chun can only shake his head in frustration. What kind of crazy game is this? You don't get guards, you get thugs shaking you down. The comments keep flooding the screen. The level of freedom is insane. Beat them all up, bro. Time to go crazy. Are we finally gonna see some action? Seojun coldly brushes the guy's hand off. Guys, should I clean these losers out too? The chat gets more excited than ever. Yeah, go for it. Just beat up the boss and you're done. Once you take down their leader, this whole market will be cleared out. Seojun smiles and tucks his gold away. All right then, the goal for today's stream is to clean up this entire market. The screen immediately lights up. Bro, are you seriously going after the Butcher Gang? You're really gonna challenge the Butcher Gang. This is too good to miss. I bet this streamer doesn't even know what the Butcher Gang is. Seojun's face suddenly goes blank. What's a Butcher Gang? Viewership starts to climb. All right, let's head out. Elsewhere, chaotic sounds ring out. He can't have gone far. Find him. Logan is beyond annoyed that his prey, which was right in front of him, has slipped away again. Suddenly a hand appears from high up trying to stay hidden. Alpha K's face is deathly pale as he attempts the assassination challenge. Oh no, I'm dead. I think I got caught again. He struggles to scan the situation below. I swear this camera angle is the absolute worst. He's so focused that he doesn't notice the candle next to him reaching its limit. A piece of burning wick falls straight onto Logan's head. You little coward, I found you. He screams in rage. Alpha K's body freezes. Damn it, got caught off guard? The moment he's spotted, the system announces the game is over. He's back at the starting line again. He can't even remember how many times this has happened. Caught by his henchman again. The viewers watching the screen can't help but feel helpless. That's the 4th time already. He squinted, struggling to make out the action below. The camera angle was absolute garbage, and he was so locked in that he didn't even notice the candle right next to him had burned all the way down. The hot wax dripped right onto Logan's head, that little coward. He exploded in a rage, screaming, "Found you, you little brat!" Anbaka's body stiffened as if he'd been paralyzed. Damn it, he'd been caught off guard. The moment he was spotted, the system announced the game was over, and once again he was sent back to square one. He'd lost track of how many times this had happened. I got nabbed by his goons again. The viewers watching the screen couldn't help but feel helpless. That was the 4th time already. The player Anbaka shyly said, "Thank you," though he looked gloomy and sighed, complaining that if he could just take down Jace, he'd be done with District 4. It's a real headache. Even the netizens are totally stumped by this situation. Can this even be cleared? It feels like it would take until the end of time. These dominators are supposed to be unbeatable after all. Dominators is the term for the gang leaders managing District 4 in the city of Otto. They're the heavy-hitting villains in the game, and the Queen is one of them. You've got the heads managing the country. Then the master of the magic tower, second in command to only one person, and of course the royal leaders, some seriously big names among the nobility. And the boss of the Butcher Gang, like Jace, especially Jace, who randomly spawns in one of 10 hideouts, making him a nightmare to track down. Anbaka quickly opened the trade window. Looking for the secret map of the Butcher Gang, even the viewers were getting extremely bored. This game again. He let out a heavy sigh to check where old man Jace was hiding. The results popping up on screen made him even more exhausted. Damn it, he crawled into another annoying spot. The notification sounds got louder and louder. Mad Dog donated 10,001. If you're at the theater, just rush in and wreck the map already. But I saw someone use a bare-handed build to wreck that map already. Why are you struggling so much? Anbaka asked, feeling a bit suspicious. Thanks for the 10,001 donation, Mad Dog. But what do you mean by wreck the map? You guys know this game doesn't allow for that kind of sweeping gameplay, right? The crowd was stunned hearing that. No way. Do you not scroll through the community forums? He immediately rushed to check the latest forum updates. His eyes suddenly lit up. Oh, someone actually did it on the forums. Thousands of beautiful scenarios started playing out in Anbaka's mind if that person really did sweep through this map. Then I'll make that person my master and take Jace down with my own 2 hands, he firmly declared. I'll stream all night. I'll keep streaming until I clear it. And as for old man Jace, once I'm trained by my master, he's done for. The comments section instantly went wild. Student who quit donated 10,001. Are you really going to stand by those words? But he kept his arrogant persona, promising, of course I'm not scared, I'll take responsibility because that's impossible anyway, and donation money is super easy to get. Suddenly bursts of mocking laughter came through the screen. It made him shudder for a moment, a crazy thought flashing through Anbaka's mind. Wait a minute, is this for real? He asked, sounding scared. Well, if the person who cleared it is a pro gamer, then I'd like to ask to cancel the all-night stream bet. The crowd immediately swarmed in to tease him. Getting cold feet, huh? The netizens' terrifying power was on full display again. Wake up, Ambaka! Shame on you, just take the loss, kid. The donation amount kept climbing, leaving him pale as a ghost. Mad Dog donated 10,000 won, Ambaka is toast. In complete contrast to that peaceful scene, Seo-jun's side had reached a level of pure chaos with screams ringing out in midair. The intruder is on the lower floor. Stop him at all costs. Dozens of guards gathered to surround their prey, but Seo-jun's calm and collected demeanor still left everyone shocked. Wait, looking at him, bro seems like he's about to clear the level. Back to 30 minutes before the God-tier player's comment appeared, rapid footsteps echoed through the narrow alley. The comments were buzzing non-stop. Where is he going? This alley smells so damp, Seo-jun muttered, shaking his head with boredom. Guess I'll just tail these guys for now. But the netizens immediately shut him down. You don't even have any reputation yet. It'll be a long time before you can dig up info on Jace Buddy. They all chimed in to remind him if you want to find the traitor in the gang, you have to clear the related side quests first, which made him a bit curious. Is this gang really that hard to take down? The viewers couldn't help but feel helpless. Bro, you're talking about toppling a dominator. What makes you think that's an easy meal? Seo-jun's face turned blank instantly. What the heck is a dominator? The live chat feed instantly exploded with comments. Our streamer really is a rookie. Did you see that? This reminds me of the time he didn't know what a tank was. Wait, are you joking with us? Everyone was laughing so hard they couldn't breathe. I'm dying of laughter. No way. User donated 1,001. You don't even know what a dominator is and you want to go hunt them. Seo-jun's eyebrows furrowed. I'm just asking what it is. Someone explain it to him. The crowd started mocking him. What do you expect from a guy who doesn't even know how to play a tank? It made him feel a bit guilty. I did check online for Jace's strategy last night, but he let out a heavy sigh. All the guides keep exposing the informants, getting them killed, so none of the options feel right. Suddenly he thought of the perfect plan. Then just beat them to a pulp until they're too terrified to even think about revenge. Simple as that. Duyen's voice suddenly snapped him back to reality. Hey, you cough up whatever good stuff you've got on you. While I was still trying to talk reasonably, he flashed a sly grin. And that wallet you swiped earlier, too. The viewers couldn't help but feel embarrassed for the guy knowing exactly how this would end. It's always the same, so no surprise here. He's already taken on 13 guys at once. This right here is nothing, just a mosquito buzzing. He hadn't even felt a hint of danger yet, so he boldly stepped closer. Are you deaf? I told you to cough it up? Even Chavo standing nearby couldn't help but laugh. Boss, I think this punk is so scared he's lost his mind. They couldn't stop laughing. Seo-jun looked calm. Take it easy on him, boss. Oh, look, are we scaring you? If you're smart, hand over the money and we'll let you keep your pathetic life. Only the netizens realized the truth. Seeing his expression now, he looked absolutely furious. Seo-jun calmly began to probe. Do you know where Jai is? Ren, hearing this, looked slightly confused. He's our big boss, of course we know where he is. He lowered his voice, stressing every word, where. It sent the guy into a rage. Are you crazy? Why the hell would we tell you anything? Seo-jun slowly clenched his hand into a fist. Is that so? A smirk appeared on his handsome face. Then let's trade punches first and talk later. He noted with interest that fists are indeed the most universally understood language. While Ren still hadn't grasped the situation. What the hell is this moron mumbling about? He screamed out an order. Hey, jump him and teach him a lesson now. The moment he finished, they all lunged at Seo-jun to gang up on him, but his agile reflexes allowed him to dodge every single blow easily. His close-quarters combat skills were improving every day. Through each accumulation of Dante, the guy roared in frustration, You little rat! He didn't hesitate to thrust his weapon straight at Seo-jun. On the other hand, he stood there, calmly gripping the leg of the guy in front of him. In less than a few seconds, he had easily taken down his opponent. Dante was in such pain, his eyes rolled back his mouth, gasping for air from the suffocation. But Seo-jun showed no signs of letting up. Instead, he drew his weapon ready to end the game. Chavo couldn't hold back any longer and charged in. You bastard! He didn't hesitate to rain down a fierce attack on Seo-jun. The exact moment he thought he had won, his body instinctively began to tremble violently. Seo-jun's eyes suddenly became unusually sharp, directly suppressing his opponent with his sheer killing intent. He didn't waste any more words and took the guy down directly his handsome face without a single ripple of emotion, as if he were used to doing this. The space suddenly became quieter than ever, leaving Seojun alone in the middle of the small alley. The comment section was thrilled to finally witness a map-clearing spree. That's so satisfying. To anyone thinking of trying this out themselves, stop dreaming. Ren was now deathly pale. Damn it! Just as the thought of running away flickered in his head, his body suddenly lost the ability to move. Seojun spoke in a serious tone. Where is Jai? The guy remained determined to stick to his original stance. Even if I die, I won't. Before he could finish, the sword in Ren's hand was completely deformed by the overwhelming power of the man in front of him. Seojun's face darkened as he growled, "Where is he?" leaving the netizens completely exhausted. "Dude, he's passed out! He can't say a word, so why even ask?" A flash of murderous intent glinted in his eyes, threatening, "Answer me now." The viewers couldn't help but feel a chill. Is this a new type of torture? He really is a mad king. Ren tremblingly managed to choke out the words, "Street number 13. His whole body was already flattened against the floor of the biggest theater. The comment section instantly erupted into chaos. That actually makes sense. This guy is the devil incarnate. What was that high IQ play just now? He just created a whole new path. Gave me goosebumps. Trying to block him and supporting 1,000 ETO soldiers, you tried your best to stop a monster like this. And clearing ETO's name, damn, that's wild. He sacrificed himself while on duty. Seojun boredly toyed with the weapon in his hand. This dagger is so short it's uncomfortable to hold. He scanned his surroundings to assess the situation. Is there anything better? Suddenly he spotted a useful item not far away. That looks decent. The sound of metal clashing echoed continuously from one space to the next. Thousands of people scattered across the street as if ending their lives a second later would be the end. Seojun's face remained expressionless as he swept through the entire battlefield. Using his agile reflexes, he easily dealt with everyone standing in his way. Even the toughest life forms had to collapse before his terrifying power. Seojun calmly admired the achievements he had just created, shaking his head with boredom. The game developers are being ridiculous, stuffing 30 guys into this tiny theater, and then telling me to go assassinate them. The viewers couldn't help but get angry. Man, you're speaking our minds. Suddenly, a bitter voice cut through the silence. Gotcha. As soon as he finished, an object flashed through the air, acting as a declaration of war. Seojun's eyes couldn't help but widen in surprise, but very quickly after that, he regained his usual composure. Suddenly, screeching sounds rang out, directly attacking his psyche as a barrage of knives flew at him simultaneously. As if wanting to claim Seojun's body, a flurry of swords flew toward him. His eyes became ice-cold with a determined expression. In the moment, the rain of blades came down like a storm. Seojun instantly shattered the attack with a powerful move. So you're planning to keep blocking, not even bothering to dodge, huh? That reflex speed is truly insane. With heavy footsteps and a mocking tone, he added, "Not bad." The corner of Jay's mouth curled up slowly with a cryptic look. "But still," he declared loudly with a provocative pose, "can you even block this attack of mine?" The space immediately shook violently. A barrage of swords shot out like missiles. He remained nonchalant, thinking, this is ridiculously slow. Seojun swirled his weapon in a circle. His gaze turned icy. The swords slammed into the wall, leaving deep, cold gouges. Suddenly, one sword flipped back, pierced through Jay, and pinned him straight to the wall. Awesome. His mouth curled into a knowing smirk. He's still blocking all these incoming attacks so smoothly. Is there anything in this world he can't block? Seriously, is there nothing he can't parry? Exactly as the audience thought. The guy's eyes lit up with excitement. Not bad at all. What's your name? Seojun's voice dropped, carrying an air of authority. Anonymous. A notification popped up on the screen. Usually they don't even bother asking for names. He must be terrified. Jay's expression was a mix of complex emotions. That's a cool name. The strong deserve respect. The glowing red spears connected to chains hovered in midair, so he declared loudly with a crazed look, "I'm going all out." It shot forward at high speed. He remained calm while facing it. Seojun was now surrounded by heavy chains. Moving swiftly, the spear suddenly attacked him from behind. In a split second, with lightning-fast reflexes, Seojun used his leg to counterattack with immense power. He fell into a moment of contemplation. When he only threw knives, I thought this would be easier than ETO. Seojun's eyes darkened heavily. So it was that weapon blocking everyone from clearing the level. Jay slowly approached with intense killing intent. He spoke in a mocking tone. It's supposed to be an assassination game, yet you're so heavily invested in melee combat. A message instantly appeared on the screen. Or maybe the developers actually want players to go for a mowing down playstyle. Right, melee combat has been a key part of Dawn of Assassination from the very beginning. The corner of his mouth twitched mockingly. Not coming up? Jay's eyes widened with a crazed expression. Fine, then I'll go first. He launched a direct attack at him. Seo-jun hesitated for a split second as the iron chains were about to strike, but in the blink of an eye it swiped past him. Jay charged immediately upon seeing Seo-jun backing away. Notifications kept popping up. He's just standing there blocking the whole time. Even Anonymous is struggling to kill this guy. That combo couldn't be blocked from the start. That guy was acting so cocky earlier, too. His expression was a mix of complex emotions. This fight is clearly tougher than taking on 13 people at once. Seo-jun remained calm while facing him, but his brow furrowed. Even if it's a mountain of blades or a forest of swords, I can still find a path. He lunged forward, attacking recklessly. They're blocking the way. The guy hesitated, then asked suspiciously, Is it just the two of you? Jay's expression shifted when faced with the powerful weapon. You think we'll just let you pass? His footsteps stumbled backward. His whole body trembled as he tried to brace himself. Block this. Seo-jun's expression was complex. It's a one-hit kill move for mobs, but for a boss like him, it's only enough to buy time for one counterattack. He was tightly protected by the iron chains. Even that was hard to deal with. Jay's chains guarded him so well that it was tough to land a clean hit. His mouth curled into a cryptic smirk. But that doesn't apply to me. Seo-jun gripped his weapon tightly. Because I just need to land a precise strike and that's it. His expression turned serious. Seo-jun's footprints were etched into the ground with heavy force. This is the stance I've practiced. He's practiced thousands of times to hone my blade. Standing firm, he remained composed while channeling power from his lower body, a top-tier defensive stance. Seo-jun channeled his inner energy, creating an overwhelming sense of pressure before unleashing his move. His gaze was sharp and focused. Seo-jun had completely dominated the psychological front. A direct strike to the head left Jay reeling. The sheer power made him collapse. The screen practically exploded. What just happened? Jay's skull just got crushed. Looks easy as pie. The truth is, whenever someone makes something look super easy, it just proves they're a true professional. His expression was complex. Because this is virtual reality, the body feels a bit different, so I wasn't sure at first, but it doesn't matter in the end. Seo-jun felt every movement of his body. From the placement of his feet, he controlled his body rhythmically, twisting his upper torso. Seo-jun fell into a brief moment of thought. Even the trajectory of my arm. The corner of his mouth slowly curled into a smirk. Every moment is adjusted to the most optimal posture. Suddenly, the chains shot out like a storm. Even if the body is different, it doesn't matter. Seo-jun's whole body was on high alert. He quickly stepped back to dodge the attack. Jay's face twisted in fury. Die, you bastard! The spears connected to the chains aimed straight for Seo-jun. They wrapped tightly around the weapon in his hand. Seo-jun's gaze grew sharp with a crazed intensity. He countered decisively, making the space tremble. The chains now lay on the ground, severed into pieces. That trick won't work a second time. Seo-jun's footsteps quickened. He leaped into the air and unleashed a finishing blow at Jay. This is fun. The moment of swinging a weapon like this? The corner of Seo-jun's mouth curled into a mocking smirk. The only proof of my past life. Blinding light covered the space. The blades were plunged deep into the ground. His eyes turned bloodshot and crazed. Seo-jun poured all his strength into his arms. The powerful finishing blow made the space tremble. Jay's health bar was now completely depleted. Seo-jun remained calm as the notification popped up. The fake boss had been defeated, and he'd earned one of the 4 shards. Comments flooded in. Anonymous is a god. Anonymous is a god. Oh my god, Anonymous is a god. I can't believe I'm witnessing the first person in the world to beat the game. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm witnessing the first person in the world to beat the game. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm witnessing the first person in the world to beat the game. The user, Assassin Chow Son, donated 100,000 coins. This is the hope of our school. Seo-jun said excitedly. Thanks for the 100,000 coins, Assassin Chao Son. Seo-jun paused, noticing the viewer count. His expression grew complex. Since when did the viewership get this high? The sunset cast a glow over the old castle. Seo-jun looked conflicted, wondering, when did the number of viewers skyrocket like this? He stopped dead in his tracks, realizing the viewer count was even higher than his own follower count. He felt empty for a moment, his cheeks turning bright red in embarrassment. Seo-jun fell into deep thought. Kim-tu told me not to worry too much about the viewer count. But, he continued questioning frantically, she said even if there's only one viewer you have to give it your all. And if people suddenly flood in, you absolutely cannot get arrogant, you hear me? That was the hard-earned advice soaked in sweat and tears from my buddy. The corners of his mouth curled into a sly smirk. But man, it's hard not to be happy. Seo-jun's expression was a mix of emotions. After all, this was the first time in the world someone had beaten the game. Comments poured in, is this how he proves his strength? This is insane. This guy is playing a completely different game all by himself. Blood dripped from the metal pipe onto the ground. The user Assassin Thea donated 10,000 coins. What's even scarier is that he actually took it down, with nothing but a metal pipe. The chat was laughing. How are we supposed to handle this if there's no damage-boosting gear? What do you mean, how? He'd just devour it anyway. That's exactly what makes it so terrifying. Seo-jun spoke indifferently. Thanks for the 10,000 coins, Assassin Thea. Seo-jun's eyes turned puzzled. Actually, I have a question. Standing tall amidst the gloomy scenery, he wondered, why didn't the guards show up? A notification popped up on the screen. The guards in this world are like the cops in Grand Theft Auto. They never show up when you're actually doing a mission. The guards were hiding in a corner, shivering. The assassin is too scary. Just go after the easy targets and finish them off. He ran away in fear. Save me. A comment came in, funny how when I'm just pickpocketing, they're always lurking around. Seo-jun's expression was a mix of confusion and realization. So that's how it is. Well, let's get going then. As the sun set, he walked slowly through the chaotic streets. Seo-jun stopped when he heard a voice anonymous. A figure in a black cloak stood opposite him, completely covered. Seo-jun's voice deepened with authority. Who's there? Rihanna tightened her hooded cloak, her expression complex. You defeated Zai. A notification appeared. Christina, looking stunning, stepped forward and handed him a bag with a sincere expression. Thanks to you, we've taken one step closer to escaping our shackles. She kept her composure. To oppression. Thank you. Here is your reward. Seo-jun paused, looking skeptical as he received the currency. His expression turned bewildered. I didn't even take a quest to kill it yet. I still get a reward. A notification dinged while he was still busy staring at Gina's face. What the heck is going on? Right, they give out rewards even if you don't take the commission. He sighed. I don't even have anywhere to spend the money. A laugh echoed from the other side of the screen. There are metal pipes thrown all over the street. Who needs cash? Seo-jun retorted. If I'm not taking the money, then why did I kill it? Though Zai must be pretty confused right now. Tina slowly asked, where are we going next? He cut her off decisively. Do I really have to tell you that? Her expression shifted to something complex. Fine. Tina turned around and walked away. I'll be going first then. See you later, Anonymous. Seo-jun fell into a contemplative mood. He maintained his nonchalant look as his eyes turned toward the old castle. Does this count as a successful assassination? A notification popped up. And since when did I admit this was an assassination? Do you even know what an assassination means? A comment was immediately sent. That blank, clueless look is exactly what makes him so charming. He looked puzzled. Is it time to celebrate the victory now? Seo-jun spoke with a sarcastic, indifferent tone. I've already finished everything I needed to do. Now I'm off to party. All right, I'm heading out to party now. The broadcast cut off abruptly. A string of desperate, lingering voices echoed, Wait, hold on. How could it end just like this? He ignored the notification with total finality. Catch you next time. Seo-jun was slowly drifting into unconsciousness. Moments later, he stretched languidly as he woke up. Seo-jun froze when he saw Tu there and immediately demanded with a look of annoyance, Why are you being so sloppy with your work? What the hell are you doing in someone else's room? Tu raised an eyebrow and replied nonchalantly, I'm off today, so I was watching your live stream. That's creepy as hell, Seo-jun said, suppressing his anger. Why would you come into my room to watch that and get your feet off me? Tu immediately retorted with a mocking tone. My room is my room, but your room is my room too. Why do you have to be so difficult? He grabbed a pillow and started frantically hitting him. Seriously, guys, please hurry up and go to the bathroom. A moment later, Seojun regained his calm demeanor. All right, we can continue now. How was the stream? Any feedback? Tu watched the screen intently and exclaimed, For 440 viewers, that's a pretty heated atmosphere. He snatched the phone away decisively. Give it here, let me see. Tu protested in frustration. Hey, that's my phone. The cursor moved instantly across the screen. Seojun's eyes darkened, his expression turning manic. Where's the boss? The screen updated. Not yet. He's still dazed and hasn't woken up. News articles were flooding in. Who is that person? Nameless, top post from now on. Anyone who suspects Nameless is my enemy. 102 likes. They said they were checking Ito Kuklei's strength, so Nameless just took Kuklei out too. Any thoughts? Sounds like the title of one of those light novels. What's a fragment? I've never seen that before. I played the beta and even watched the ending. And I've never even seen that item. What, are you serious? Isn't that rewarded for defeating the boss? No. It's not just about beating the boss. You only get it if you take him down in Deep Moo mode. That is ridiculously intriguing. His expression was a mix of complex emotions. There's still no info on the order fragment yet. Seojun paused, his eyes full of suspicion. You can only get it in Deep Moo mode. What exactly is this item for? The phone screen displayed a negative comment. Since you all are so excited about your own inside jokes, then I'll just like it. Tu's mouth curled into a cryptic smirk. Usually, once you start getting famous, you're bound to get some hate. His expression was complex. You like being the center of attention too, don't you? Seojun's voice dropped heavy with intensity. What are you going to do now that this happened? He replied with total indifference. What do you mean, what am I going to do? We've got 400 people watching, don't we? Tu walked out of the room nonchalantly and exclaimed, There are over 10,000 people following this on social media right now. He fell into a brief, deep contemplation. Is this telling me I need to become even more famous? But how? Seojun froze, full of doubt. A series of articles appeared. His eyes turned bewildered. Anbaka shares info on the final capsule. Legend of the Late Great One. 1.7 million views. 6 days ago. He declared clearly with a provocative look, I will keep challenging this until I defeat the boss. In Deep Moo mode, I am paying my respects to my master. Seojun's mouth slowly curled up. Can you actually carry the weight of that promise? There it is. I'll take responsibility by failing miserably. Tu paused upon hearing someone call his name. He entered the room and asked slowly, Do you know anything about the gamer named Anbaka? He answered casually, Yeah, I know him. We've teamed up a few times. Why do you ask? Seojun's mouth curled into a meaningful smirk. I've got a favor to ask. Come inside. Transition to a dense forest. Anbaka sat slumped, exhausted. This is the 13th failure now, I don't know. His face darkened as he watched the screen. 13. Man, you guys suck so bad, I'm quitting this game seriously. Just give up on this no-hands challenge already. Anbaka's mood sank like he'd fallen into an abyss. You nasty little brat. I should have just finished the boss off using the fame I got from assassinating other NPCs. He froze, eyes full of suspicion. Big Bang appeared suddenly, looking cold. Anbaka trembled as he approached and called out, Big Bang! It immediately spat in his direction. Everyone! Big Bang is here to cheer you guys on! The screen flashed. Big Bang is actually here! Anbaka's face darkened with rage. How many times do I have to see this? I still can't stand this trick. His gaze dimmed with frustration. There was absolutely nothing left to play. A notification immediately popped up on the screen. If successful, I will honor this person as my master, learn from them, and continue challenging it until I defeat Zay on Hell difficulty. Anbaka paused, looking skeptical. What, someone actually beat the game? You've got to be kidding me, right? He slowly reached toward the screen to click on the title Zay, Hell difficulty, his expression a complex mix of emotions. Are you serious? Huh, you even faked this just to mess with me? I told you those tricks don't work on me. As Suhun's image instantly appeared on the front page as the first person to clear the nameless Zay Hell difficulty, a chill ran down his spine. What the? They actually beat it! Who on earth is this person? Anbaka was still reeling. Nameless. A message popped up instantly. He opened it, still feeling suspicious. Oh, damn it, I got played. That stings. He narrowed his eyes, staring intensely at the message from 2. Scene transition. A high-rise building at Movie Seoul, South Korea. Steam rose slowly from a coffee cup. Baimo's lips curled into a satisfied smile as he sipped his drink. Smells great, he muttered. Just then, the door swung open. Boss! Baimo immediately snapped. Don't you know how to knock? Kwang Ha replied awkwardly. I'm sorry, boss. Baimo frowned, annoyed. What are you so worked up about? He hurriedly blurted out, Right, it's a disaster, boss. Kwang Ha's face turned pale with anxiety. A Dominator was just defeated. Hearing this, Baimo slammed his hand on the desk. And it was a solo clear, too. That's insane. Baimo's expression darkened. Which Dominator? His voice dropped heavy with dread. Zay. He sighed and then muttered, You scared the hell out of me. I thought it was something else. Zay, huh? Besides, he was the weakest one among them anyway. Baimo remained indifferent. He was going to be defeated sooner or later. Kwang Ha spoke up full of anxiety. But what if the players start getting curious about the fragments of order? Baimo waved his hand dismissively. Forget it. You're overthinking. If they collect all the fragments of order, it might affect the current plan, but his gaze dropped, his expression heavy. You were the one who designed the protection system and put it in the game from the start, weren't you? The fragment carrying wild power appeared. Fragment of order 1/4. A hidden item obtainable by defeating the Dominator of Antion through a special route. The space shook as the power struck directly. The item can only be obtained by defeating the Dominator via a solo clear, however. The Gatekeeper Dominators cannot be defeated without a specific ultimate technique. The screen displayed, Ultimate technique not unlocked. Can be obtained via a special path. A sigh of helpless frustration echoed. Just use it already. What a hassle. The hidden skill was rigged with so many traps, and that ultimate technique was also designed to make players waste a fair amount of time unlocking it. The screen turned bright red. You've been playing for over 10 hours now. Please take a break. A series of news articles appeared on the front page. In other words, there was currently no reason to worry. Kwang Ha's face was a mess of complex emotions. But he still felt uneasy and hesitated. What if that 1 in a million chance actually happens and the person who did it is a... Chimmo just started a live stream a few minutes ago too. Baimo frowned, clearly displeased. You're too noisy. Go back to work. He paused, looking suspicious for about 2 seconds. Baimo's voice dropped, full of authority. How do you know he just started streaming? It sounds like you were watching the stream. During work hours, huh? Kwang Ha froze. Well, that's... Baimo's eyes widened in irritation. Seriously, I'm deducting your pay for this. He turned around abruptly and walked away. Please, boss, spare my life. Baimo stood up, suppressing his anger. This kid, honestly... He thought to himself, I'll deal with this during the performance review. His mood grew agitated. They won't actually be able to collect all of them, right? His doubtful voice drifted slowly. A live stream collab, Anbaka, remained casual. Didn't I tell you already? Suhan asked, looking confused. Like today, you're doing it for real. He watched the newly updated info intently. Seeing that this whole thing had zero value for finding new talent, his expression became complicated. Suhan, you're misunderstanding something. Anbaka clenched his fist and declared, he is coming here. Not just a regular guest, he stood up suddenly looking excited, but a highly sought-after supermaster guest, no less. Suhan immediately challenged him with a sarcastic tone, a master, give me a break. He's only been live streaming for a few days, for crying out loud. Anbaka raised an eyebrow. You saw the announcement video, didn't you? Do you need me to pull it up for you again? His voice dropped, filled with intense hostility. So what if he's good at one assassin game? I only acknowledge gamers who come from professional leagues. Drop it. He sighed, then spoke indifferently. This kid, honestly, whatever. Can you lend him your spare gaming pod for Seojun to use later? Suhan frowned. What, you have a spare pod, right? Anbaka remained unfazed. I heard his sync rate is a bit low, and since you just upgraded to that expensive model, it should run great. He flatly refused, pushing back coldly. Absolutely not. Wait, didn't you just call him a master? How could a master have such a trash sync rate? At least try to make up a believable lie. Suhan turned to leave firm in his decision. I'll be watching the response to this collab stream from the sidelines. So call me when he gets here. His gaze wavered, then he muttered, "This guy is such a pain in the ass. Why am I suddenly so ticked off?" N'Baka paused, suddenly skeptical. Wait a second. He fell into deep, calculating thought. Doesn't that mean he cleared the game solo under those less-than-ideal conditions? Oh man, if that's the case, how crazy is he at fighting in real life? Is he some kind of actual gangster? If I don't watch this match, I'm going to be totally out of the loop. Why do I even have to deal with this? Whatever, forget it. N'Baka's expression darkened. Damn it, maybe suggesting this collab was a mistake. He froze, looking skeptical as a slow voice rang out. Nice to meet you. N'Baka's face went pale. What did you say? Seojun's lips curled into a mysterious smirk. My name is Chin Seojun. He still hadn't fully recovered. The guy was handsome, with perfect, natural features. He looks much more normal than I imagined. He looks even better in real life than his edited character. I thought that was just the magic of the character creator, but he's just using the default look. Forget it, the guy is already perfect. His eyes became confused. Edited character. What are you talking about? A flood of comments came in. Does this guy know anything at all? This is total false advertising. This is truly insane, man. This is enough grounds for a lawsuit. Don't you feel bad for the new viewers? Bigger eyes, higher nose, a sharper V-line jaw, broader shoulders, more muscle. N'Baka became disgruntled and challenged them. We're still setting up, get out of here. I had to spend so much effort tweaking my own character, eyes almost popping out just to make it look decent. Tiu spoke up excitedly. Brother, long time no see, I'm here too. Come on in, bro. He froze. Tiu, is that you? Long time no see, man. All right this way, please. A chorus of voices replied, Excuse us. Seojun's expression was a mix of complex emotions. He fell into deep thought. From the outside, it just looks like an ordinary house. Seojun carefully observed the layout of the house, but it feels like he's completely separated his workspace from his living space. So this is the studio of a veteran streamer. It looks like this. N'Baka spoke nonchalantly. I'll go make some coffee. Everyone please make yourselves at home, he replied excitedly. Let me give you a hand, Tiu whispered with a puzzled look. Brother, where did you get the confidence to agree to that bet? A nice man, he frowned, deeply dissatisfied. If you came in here just to mock me, then get lost. Seojun paused, maintaining his calm demeanor. Suhan walked into the room, surprised. Hello. His voice dropped heavy and serious. I'm Lee, Suhan N'Baka's manager and editor. He remained unmoved. Nice to meet you. I'm the streamer Chin Seojun. A handshake followed immediately. Seojun's eyes flashed with complex emotions. What's this trying to intimidate me? Suhan spoke in a mocking tone. You seem to be extremely good at gaming, huh? He replied decisively. I guess so. His eyes went dim heavy. I heard you only started playing recently. Seojun's lips curled knowingly. Actually, that's a secret. His footsteps stopped abruptly. What kind of trick was he trying to pull now? No way, that bastard Lee Suhan. He declared clearly, I used to play in the professional league for a short time about 7 years ago. N'Baka's eyes went wide. 7 years ago. He immediately looked confused, then stammered, Professional league? You were that good back then too? What rank are you really? Seojun asked, his voice sharp and decisive. Suhan's eyes remained skeptical. I don't believe that's true. There's no way someone who quit gaming and could suddenly come back and be this good after all these years. He raised an eyebrow slightly. Then who knows, maybe it's still possible. He immediately declared loud and challenging, Then let's have a solo match in the training room and see what you've got. Seojun froze. Like right now. N'Baka slowly chimed in. Why do you even want to solo with Seojun? Suhan's voice carried a hint of provocation. Why else? I just want to test what the kid is really capable of. Tu let out a mocking laugh. Are you for real? You want to solo with him? He frowned, questioning. What about it? But he kept a casual look, his attitude suddenly becoming cocky. I'm only saying this because I'm looking out for you, man. Dude. Seojun's eyes turned puzzled. Why are you suddenly being so polite? Tu's expression immediately went serious. I'm giving you some honest advice. Don't be stupid enough to solo. With this guy. But his eyes still held a look of defiance. Why do you think I'd definitely lose? He kept that calm look. This matter, we're not even talking about winning or losing, it's just that... His expression turned grave. Tu declared firmly, Dude, this information absolutely must not. Get out of this room, all right? His voice dropped, carrying authority. If you want to fight him in the training room, you'd be better off challenging a level 10 stage instead. That would make more sense. He paused, full of doubt. What then, don't tell me? Suhan's eyes held confusion. Is this guy actually anonymous? The start game button appeared on the screen. The first scene showed Seojun's sword fighting with Sin Hajun. The two blades clashed, throwing off sparks with a piercing screech. Finally, as if it couldn't take any more, the other blade was completely shattered by him. Watching this part, both Anbaka and Suhan wore expressions of shock. This is insane. The video kept playing while he clutched his head, saying in a panic, he actually pulled that off. But that's Sin Hajun. As the video neared the end, he offered a proper assessment. That match was completely one-sided, wasn't it? The hits he let himself take on purpose, he didn't get hit by a single actual attack. Seojun's voice chimed in. If you put in about 85 more years of practice, you might just have a shot at winning. Leaving the two of them with their jaws dropped. Anbaka jumped up, shouting, the arrogance on this guy is actually insane. But wait, why am I suddenly feeling so much pressure about this collaborative stream? Seeing his reaction, Tu was incredibly satisfied, showing a haughty expression. See that's the real Sin Seojun for you. It left him unable to help but look helpless, thinking to himself, why are you the one bragging about it? After watching the video, Suhan went strangely quiet. While the other two were chatting, he called out to Seojun. He turned his head and answered obediently. Yes. Before anyone knew it, Suhan was standing right in front of Seojun, looking like he was about to lunge at him. From now on, the other two weren't in the mood to joke around anymore and quickly moved to stop him. Hey, Lee Suhan dude, hold on. To everyone's surprise, he bowed his head completely. I will acknowledge you as my big brother. Tu was so startled he scrambled onto Anbaka. The guy, relatively calm, smiled and said, what on earth was that? You had me worried for nothing. As for Seojun, he was just standing there completely stunned. Suhan kept pointing at himself, declaring, anyone who is good at games is my big brother. From now on, big brother, feel free to talk to me whenever. Big brother. Outside, he nodded blankly, but on the inside, his eyes were rolling to the back of his head. Being respected is fine, I guess. But still, if we're talking about age, you shouldn't be calling me big brother. You should be calling me your great-great-grandfather. This kid, if I count my past life, how old am I now? Tu had calmed down and was laughing teasingly. Since it wasn't a big deal, he just let it go. Dude, look at that blank face of his. No sooner had he said that than a tissue box hit him in the head. While Anbaka was lost in thought, a more important question arose. What's this about 7 years ago? The two started bickering again. If you're so good, come on and let's fight. His eyes focused on Seojun. There's no way. Is Seojun really a player who's been around that long? The other person, oblivious, was getting annoyed at the guy getting right in his face. Look at your smug face, it's so annoying. But seeing Anbaka stay silent, Suhan nudged the other guy with his elbow. Hey, what are you two doing? He pointed at them, announcing it was almost time for the big live stream. Big brother, we need to get ready. He finally snapped back to reality. All right. Is it time already? Thinking back on what just happened, Anbaka quickly brushed it off, wondering if he was just overthinking things. He calmly called out, Seojun, shall we go? Just as he was about to toss the cardboard box at Tu again, he turned around and replied, yes, as he started giving directions. First, we head to my machine room, he began, but he was cut off by Suhan, who was incredibly excited, gesturing, this way, boss, please, this way. Even though he was a bit confused by the guy's sudden display of respect, Seojun didn't refuse, simply saying thanks. Hearing that the guy said happily, oh, he really is a god, completely ignoring Anbaka, who still had a bright red handprint on his face, talk about someone changing their tune faster than a flipping pancake. A notification popped up. Anbaka had started his live stream. Thousands of comments flooded in, showing everyone's excitement. It's here, thump, 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 thump. Hello, I've been waiting for this for so long. I'm here waiting with my box of fried chicken. Anbaka's cheerful face appeared on the screen. Before getting to the main point, he asked a question to lead everyone in. So good to see you all again. I'm sure you all know what day it is today, right? The reaction in the comments wasn't quite as enthusiastic. Does he think we're here without knowing that? Get that annoying face of his off the screen already. Reading these lines, Anbaka couldn't help but grumble. What the hell is this? This is my stream. Is there nobody here to watch me? People laughed and kept teasing, "Spot on, that's right, is there a problem with that, huh?" While he was sniffing, a friendly comment popped up. "Oh, not at all, I'm here to watch Anbake." That cheered Anbake right up. "Oh, look, it's Mr. Whale Watcher, did you really come here just to see me?" But that person's actual goal was to watch the non-stop grind-heavy stream. His mood shifted constantly from a moment ago. "No exhausting grinding today, though, okay? This kid, I should ban you to the island." The viewers laughed and spammed ha-ha emojis, but someone noticed something else. "Wait, why aren't you grinding today?" Anbake looked quite satisfied with that question. "Why am I not grinding today? That's a great question." He then drew out the suspense, because today is... Someone even spammed heartbeat sounds to make the situation more exciting. Thump, 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 thump. Finally, with eyes burning with intensity, full of determination, he announced, "Musho is the game we're going to rock today." Someone hilariously commented, "This guy is excited as hell." Then pointing at a large wooden crate, he introduced, "Right now, I'd like to introduce the professor who will teach me the secrets of Musho today." Suddenly, the crate cracked open. A golden light flashed and the chat went wild again. Did this guy just summon some kind of grandmaster or something? What kind of special effect is that? After the wooden planks fell away, Anbake said in an excited voice, "Let's welcome streamer Shinseo-chun, come on out." But to everyone's surprise, it was completely empty inside. He couldn't help but look dumbfounded. The chat was confused. What is this? Why isn't he showing up? They teased him again. Doing a collaboration over the phone, are we? All right. Stop being delusional, Anbake. But now Anbake was focused on something else. Did something happen? Why isn't he there? The viewers started guessing. That Grandmaster was actually just a figment of Anbake's imagination. Seo-chun. But the collab isn't until tomorrow. Anbake. Oh my god, Shinseo-chun, I'm not coming because you haven't paid me enough money yet. Anbake was losing his mind, firing back. It's not a phone collaboration, you guys. But no one believed him. Stop lying, man. Looks like you'll have to pull an all-nighter grinding again. Let's go, guys. Seeing that, Anbake had to pull his trump card. Look at this. The system board clearly showed we even planned a second phase online after this, you know. Suddenly, a new notification popped up on the screen. A message from Shinseo-chun. He opened it and read, Anbake, it's me, Shinseo-chun. 2 more messages followed from Seo-chun. Wait, I don't know how to get into your waiting room. Anbake, could you send me an invite? Hey. The viewers stared at the screen in shock. The chat went haywire again, typing hey and comments like, "That sounds salty as hell. Is this acting or is it real?" Anbake gave a forced laugh and sent the code for room 1000, but deep down he was panicking. That's exactly what I wanted to ask too. Is this guy serious? Just acting a bit to spice up the stream. After a bit of advertising, Seo-chun appeared with a bright smile. "Hello everyone, I'm sorry for being late. I'm streamer Shinseo-chun." The late arrival had finally shown his face. The two sat on straw mats, and Anbake waved it off. "It's a common occurrence, no worries. Besides, technically speaking, you're still just a total rookie." Hearing that the viewers fired shots straight to his heart, a rookie seriously. If you can't even get into a waiting room, that's a bit too much, don't you think? It's all Anbake's fault for not preparing early yet. This guy is acting like he's going to study under that rookie. While the other person was reading the comments, he secretly checked his screen. The engagement wasn't bad at all. It was about to hit the 20,000 viewer mark. But then feeling helpless, I thought, why do these cruel comments even matter? Just forget about real life and get back to grinding in the game. Isn't your life basically a game anyway? Time to get back to your true self. Losing to a newbie, are you? I've just been too busy living my real life lately. The comments in this room seem a bit cynical. Seeing Anbake's gloomy expression, Seo-chun silently mused, feeling like he was being used as bait. Turning dreams into a joke has become its own kind of content. Every room's vibe is different depending on the streamer's personality. Some streamers really love to just pin their viewers down and berate them. Any other little brat wants to act up. I'm sorry, big brother. I won't do it again, I promise. Yes, big brother. You really are the greatest, big brother. A one-day chat ban is just perfect. Meanwhile, some other streamers aim for a broadcast that is completely clean and civilized. Personally, I actually quite enjoy this free-spirited atmosphere. I like it too, but the comments are being a bit too mean. You play like a total scrub, just quit the game already. Look at that skill level. What is it now? Forcing an old guy like me to feel helpless. Please show a little respect for your elders. I probably won't get shredded for my skill level, right? After some back-and-forth teasing, Anbaka clapped his hands together with a thud. All right, let's get down to business, as you all know. Thanks to Seojun taking down that boss, I'm now stuck grinding through this endless livestream challenge. He had barely gotten serious when the comments started biting back. Whose account is that? Dio has generously donated 1,001. If anyone manages to do that, I will make them my master, follow their every instruction, and grind on this live stream until I beat the boss on no soul mode. The chat is really hurting my feelings. Gritting his teeth, he threatened back, I really will block you, you know. Do you hear me? I need to smack that loudmouth and shut them up for good. But they weren't afraid of anything. Is Anbaka getting salty and heated now? Unable to hold it in anymore, Seojun turned away and covered his mouth with his hand. Even though he tried to hide it, he couldn't escape Anbaka's notice. Hey, you shouldn't be standing there laughing, Seojun, if you hadn't defeated that boss. I wouldn't be stuck doing this exhausting grind of a stream, paying the price for the karma he created himself. He chuckled and replied, That's true. I do feel a little bit responsible for you, man. Hearing that, Anbaka said, satisfied, Right, exactly. But Seojun's next words wiped the smile right off his face. It's my fault for just beating it without realizing there was someone out there confidently declaring that it was impossible to beat the boss on no soul mode on the second day of the game's release. Anbaka was crying his heart out internally. When you say it like that, where am I supposed to hide my face? What am I supposed to do now? The viewers jumped at the chance to tease him further. Here we go again, the translation read. Sorry, but that's entirely your fault. Anbaka is such an idiot. He intently watched Seojun chatting happily with the comments. The kid was surprisingly sweet. Seeing the other guy so relaxed, Anbaka thought to himself, with so many viewers watching, he didn't look worried at all. On the contrary, it looked like he was actually enjoying it. Maybe I can relax and keep the live stream going. After thinking it over, he put on a cute face and said, Fine, I know it's my fault. So please save me from my past mistakes. Master Seojun humbly nodded in agreement. I'll do my best. Anbaka heard that. Anbaka held up 2 fingers cheerfully, starting to explain the mission for today's live stream. All right, let's go. There are 2 main segments I'll be doing with Seojun today. The first part is jumping into the game with Seojun to get some coaching from him. The next part of this content will remain a secret until the day this no-soul grind challenge is a success. Before we get into the match, let me ask you something. Seojun, which basic skills have you upgraded? He was a bit surprised and blurted out, Skills. Then he honestly reported, I haven't upgraded a single thing, actually. He was honestly shocked, asking if anyone in this day and age really still grinds games manually. And you haven't bothered to upgrade a single skill either. Good grief. You haven't used a single skill this whole time. What about basic passives for attack speed movement, speed or damage boosts? What an absolute masochist. Seojun pondered for a second, then scratched his cheek nonchalantly and replied, I've never touched those ever. Is that mandatory? Seriously, this guy? Coming from a veteran master who runs around everywhere wearing nothing but his boxers. That statement was truly legendary. The livestream screen popped up. Anbaka's face was wide open, the same ugly mug he makes whenever he panics. A moment later, he finally regained his voice. After hearing that Seojun really didn't use any skills, the truth was I didn't know how to use them. But saying that out loud sounds a bit pathetic, doesn't it? So he flashed a confident smile and replied simply, I just don't think it's really necessary to use them. The chat room was stunned by his sheer audacity and didn't hesitate to turn on Anbaka, teasing him. You're actually insane. Try mimicking that style yourself. If some Anbaka from a potato lab experiment is going to brag about taking someone down with his bare hands, then he should at least be able to pull this off. Meanwhile, Anbaka was forcing a smile, unsure what to say. Why does it feel like everything has been working against me ever since Seojun showed up? The viewer count is climbing. I've got to push through this a little longer. For the sake of his goal, Anbaka forced a bright smile and said, Anyway, the second part of what I'll be doing with Seojun involves those very skills. He played a video asking everyone if they had ever seen anything like it. The video showed 2 men sword fighting. One man's blade gradually cracked and finally it couldn't hold up anymore and shattered completely. A system message appeared. Weak point detection unlocked. Quest requirement, destroy 10 weapons by identifying their stress fractures. Progress 2 out of 10. Everyone watching was incredibly curious. Is this old guy seriously going to try that? No way. What on earth is he doing? Anbaoka continued to explain, everyone, I'm sure you all know the concept of stress fractures from novels. Total fanboy mode now. Right, it's that dead line that lets you split an object in two with ease. I only need to find 10 of those marks. Once I do, the weak point detection skill will be unlocked. Right then, someone asked, so, how's it going? He held up 2 fingers. So far, I've found a total of 2 stress fractures. One was the willow sword that broke in the video we just watched, and the other was a fracture on a long sword I discovered through an NPC side quest. A viewer noticed something else. What kind of skill is that weak point detection anyway? But Anbaoka wasn't entirely sure. I'm not sure, honestly. Because, well, there's no way to know. That's the final skill I haven't been able to unlock yet. Then his eyes lit up. But I heard Seojun say he thinks... With gleaming eyes, Anbaoka shifted his focus to the person who had been silent this whole time. He can figure out the pattern behind those stress fractures. But of course nobody in the chat believed it. Hey, don't brag too early. Stop blowing smoke to bait people, man. How could anyone possibly know something like that? Is this newbie some kind of gaming god? He wasn't even angry at their reaction, just advised them, hey everyone, calm down a little. Then he excitedly offered an enticing proposal. Forget it. I bet we should make a wager on whether he can figure out the pattern before today's stream ends. The streaming platform has a channel point system. You just watch the stream and the points increase automatically. Anbaoka, please just play a horror game, and those points can be used to redeem cool effects or set ridiculous tasks for the streamer. Just a heads up, these points can't be exchanged for cash. However, there's another real reason why viewers love these points so much. It's the channel point prediction game where viewers bet their points on the outcome of the stream. The prediction event has started. A large screen appeared behind Anbaoka. All right, I've given you all plenty of time to lock in your bets. Take your time placing them. Placing your bets on the channel. Do you think he'll get lucky and find 1 or 2 hairline cracks during today's stream? Do you think he'll find 3 or 4? What kind of nonsense is this? Will he just flop like everyone else? The commenters are saying it's obvious he won't find anything. Everyone keeps picking the safe bet just to be sure. And one guy angrily commented, what the heck are those guys betting on the long shot thinking? After reading that, Seojun curiously asked what safe bet and long shot meant. He explained that the safe bet is for the most likely outcome, but the payout is super low. The long shot is for those risky bets, but if you actually win, you hit the jackpot. Everyone's predictions were shown on the channel's scoreboard. Do you think he'll get lucky and find 1 or 2 hairline cracks during today's stream? Do you think he'll find 3 or 4? What kind of nonsense is this? Will he just flop like everyone else? No way he's an alien with a third eye that can see those cracks. 4 or more? A moment later, I finally understood, and with a deadpan expression, I asked, so, betting that I'll find 4 or more is considered a long shot? The guy looked a bit flustered and replied, as of right now, yes, that's exactly what it is. Seojun said to the camera, hey everyone, if you go all in on 4 or more, the payout is 100 times your bet. Nobody really believed it. Trust me. Where does that ridiculous overconfidence come from? How can you be so sure, man? Some guy even donated Assassin Seojun. I've donated 10,000. I've trusted Seojun and went all in with all the points I've saved up over the last 3 years. I put it all on 4 or more. Am I crazy? I'm such a total rookie. Instead of caring about the money, he just calmly replied, well, let me congratulate you in advance. You're about to hit a massive payout 100 times your bet. Finally, the dawn of the assassination began. An ancient castle appeared in the middle of the night under the full moon. Blood sprayed onto the ground as a large slash hit Anjae's face. The one responsible was wearing a savage grin holding a sharp sword. The victim was trembling, begging, boss, I was wrong. Please have mercy. But he was struck across the face by the blade again. Perhaps because of the blood, the atmosphere, and even the moonlight seemed to turn red. Lewis threatened, try running away now. If you can make it out, I'll let you live. Hearing this, despite the pain all over his body, Anjae tried to crawl away. That's Louis Neville. Someone watching noticed and added that he's the son of Zeta Neville, the ruler of the far northeast. No wonder Seojun found him familiar. It was that same brat I saw in the video earlier. Anbaka raised his eyebrows and suggested, first let's check his skills. A sword appeared out of thin air, a normal sword with nothing special about the craftsmanship. But there weren't any flaws either. Anbaka provided the item, and once he received it, he jumped down to the ground, leaving him to chat with everyone else. Now everyone listen up. Even if you know where to strike to break it, actually doing it isn't easy. Just recreating that video alone is already harder than that Beiji parry move. As far as I... Suddenly, a miserable scream rang out, making Anbaka jump and snap his eyes open. The owner of that scream was Lewis, who had just been slashed by Seojun from chest to stomach. He collapsed onto the ground. In just a few seconds, he had completed the takedown. Target defeated. Weakness detected. Skill unlocked. Quest destroy 10 weapons by finding their hairline cracks. Progress 1 out of 10. Everyone was buzzing at the sight. Huh. Didn't you say just a second ago that this was super hard? A master is a master for a reason. You guys who picked the safe bet are starting to rake in the rewards, huh? Anbaka approached excitedly, praising him. As expected, you did it on the first try. Clearly your level is on a completely different planet compared to ours. Then he added to himself, I had to fail over and over again before I ever got lucky. With a smirk, he reminded him, but you know this trick hasn't been clearly proven yet, right? The other party calmly replied, that's true, but now I'm certain. Hearing that, Anbaka asked, confused, certain about what? Seojun's lips curled into a smile. That the theory I came up with is completely correct. That super cool line received a lot of salty comments, but they were actually quite realistic. Yeah, right, keep talking, man. Yeah, that's it. Everyone be careful not to get scammed by those fake beauty products. He couldn't help but chuckle while signaling for everyone to calm down. Hey, everyone, please, no need to be so bitter toward Seo-chun. Just as he said that, some knights suddenly appeared shouting, there's an intruder. The intruder has shown up, even while facing such danger. He just smiled and said, all right, here we go. Seeing is believing, so I'll show you all right now. Seo-chun's eyes narrowed, turning sharp. There's a weak point that can be completely shattered. The kind of thing people say only high-ranking Shaolin monks who reached the state of clairvoyance in their past lives could ever see. Even though my martial arts were top tier back then, I wasn't a monk, so I couldn't see it either. But even so, I can still pull off a similar trick. Images from his past life kept flashing back just like back then. All I need to do is grasp the opponent's intention, the intent of the one who created this technique. All I have to do is catch it. As he closed his eyes to focus and recall, the chat was still clueless. Why is he closing his eyes? What is he giving up and quitting now? Since he wasn't using his sight, Seo-chun's other senses became extremely sharp, making it easy to block the knight's shield. The knight looked shocked, realizing something. With a diagonal slash of his sword, everything suddenly went silent. Anbaka stood there behind him, dumbfounded. Then a water-cracking sound appeared with his next swing. It literally caused the knight to crumble into pieces. The stone debris flew past Anbaka's jaw-dropped face. He was so excited his whole face turned red. He's actually insane. While he was marveling, the chat went wild. Wait, he actually did it! What the hell did I just see? Anbaka grabbed his own hair, muttering, he found it, and he did it while keeping his eyes shut. What the heck is going on? Is he actually a monster? The viewers quickly chimed in, seriously, I'm not even kidding. What on earth is he seeing? This is straight-up genius level. He couldn't contain his excitement and ran toward him, asking, no way, Seo-chun, how on earth did you suddenly a ding sound? Rang out, grabbing both their attention. Even though they got a donation, the message was incredibly harsh. The user Oh Rao donated 1,001 and towel. Didn't you two sit down and plan this out yesterday? Looking at this obvious setup makes me want to puke. That one comment made Anbaka lose it, and he started arguing back. A setup? No way. Absolutely not. A second ago, I thought Seo-chun was just blowing smoke, but man, he's actually cracked. As the chat started to lose its mind over what just happened, you guys betting on the safe side must be feeling pretty salty now, huh? Fake streamer, apologize, you're a fraud. It's a scam. It's a total scam. Streamer, that was my tuition money. Seriously, is this for real? The painful truth is real things look fake and pranks look real. I told you guys to trust Sir Nameless. Boycott the fake streamer. Seo-chun calmly twisted the knife for them. I told you to trust me and place your bets. It made one person lose it and start bawling. It's too late, man. Suddenly he remembered something and gave a faint smile. But this is strange, isn't it? It's not just the people who bet safe that are doomed right. Seo-chun slowly recalled the prediction board that Anbaka introduced on the live stream earlier today. Maybe he'll get lucky and find 1 or 2 openings. Who knows, maybe he'll even find 3 or 4. Sir Nameless will end up empty-handed just like everyone else. Then he said smoothly, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but only 1% of you guessed I'd find 4 or more. Are all of you currently in the chat part of that 1%? The moment they heard that, the audience immediately reacted with all sorts of emotions. We're screwed right. Yeah, exactly. I guess we're all screwed together for the fun of it. Is that even considered lucky? It made Seo-chun burst out laughing. These people. The classic look of, as long as I'm not the only one failing, it's fine. The common mentality of Koreans is, Anbaka sighed inwardly, feeling for the kid. He's trolling the audience while still keeping the match on track so they don't even get mad. Is he not only good at gaming but also a natural-born streamer? Well, at least I won't have to struggle to carry the live stream by myself anymore. Just thinking about that. Anbaka happily waved at the audience. All right, Seo-chun, take it easy, guys. Everyone calm down a little. Hey, Seo-chun, how the hell do you do that? Share your secrets with the bros. The audience was so pumped they were going wild with curiosity, wondering how he trained to get that good and what on earth he actually does for a living. Curious about his real job, they kept asking. Seo-chun didn't even skip a beat, saying straight up, to start with, I'm just an average guy in his early 20s. That genuine matter-of-fact tone left Anbaka absolutely shocked for a split second. He practically jumped out of his skin, shouting, "Quit the crap, since when are you average?" Anbaka remembered the moment Seo-chun introduced himself before the game, "I'm Shin Seo-chun," and roared in frustration, "That face alone can't be called average." Stop lying. Naturally, that over-the-top reaction left the viewers confused. Is Seo-chun that handsome? As soon as that comment caught the two streamers' eyes, Anbaka quickly lowered his voice, acting dramatic. Guys, the look you see of Seo-chun on stream is his literal bare face in real life. Not a single edit. A few seconds after that statement, a barrage of comments flooded the screen. No way are the devs not planning a balance patch being this handsome and this skilled. That's just broken, folks. Suddenly, the system set off fireworks as a donation comment popped up. Donation from Tatit 10,001, there's definitely gotta be something fishy going on. I swear the way that person donated just to air their petty thoughts made Anbaka freeze for a few seconds before he started grinding his teeth. Got it loud and clear. Seeing Anbaka ready to dish out some punishment made the audience even more hyped. Oh, is he about to get banned? He's definitely getting the ban hammer, that guy. The system announced another donation from Tatit 10,001. Anbaka, already having a rough time, gritted his teeth and hissed, "Trying to mess with me, huh? Seo-chun want me to ban him for you." Seo-chun, who had been quietly watching the show, reached out to stop the dog from barking at the person again. "It's fine." Because that comment didn't even scratch the surface of his composure. Hearing that Anbaka stared at the chat, hissing a threat, "I'll let you off this time." Suddenly a comment popped up. "Hey, the admins are walking by with knives." Turns out while Anbaka was busy losing his head in the game, Seo-chun was calmly chatting with Tatit right in the comments. "Do you know what this knife is called? Behave yourself, okay?" The hilarious scene kept the commentators laughing non-stop. "Look at his reaction, he's already topping up." Seo-chun finally cleared his throat, suggesting, "All right, let's get back to the game." Anbaka took the chance to clap his hands and turned to talk to Seo-chun. "How on earth do you do it?" When he calmly shared his thoughts, saying, "Honestly, I just don't see any gaps." Anbaka tilted his head in confusion. "How come?" Under the curious gaze of the audience, Seo-chun quickly coughed from the sudden pressure, then put on his trademark poker face to seem mysterious. "I just know it's because I'm a genius." That simple statement didn't just make Anbaka's ears burn. This guy really... Almost all the viewers and the admins watching the stream froze. What's the secret, for heaven's sake? It took a few minutes for the commentators to snap out of it. They laughed at Anbaka's dumbfounded expression. "It's so annoying. Look at Anbaka's face." Seeing those laughs being directed straight at him, he trembled and pleaded, "Please don't be like that. Take pity and tell us." Who would have thought that guy Seo-chun wouldn't realize the other's distress? And instead calmly shared, "I just tried putting myself in the mob's shoes to see what they would do." That simple piece of info made Anbaka jump. "You mean you read the mob's minds just by looking at two examples?" Then Seo-chun looked so cute as he paused to collect his thoughts and explain the other's doubts. "Exactly. For example, tanking is usually just a system to clear mobs, right? Right, the gaps are harder than that, but even if you succeed, you'd just break your weapon. It doesn't even deal extra damage. In short, there's no need to use the gap system when fighting normal mobs. What's an easier way to jump higher?" Seo-chun's point was simply to look at the situation and choose the best option to rank up. Thanks to that, Seo-chun just received a sincere compliment from the commentator. "Oh no, I didn't mean that." Since the commentator didn't notice the comment and kept going with their speech, there could only be one answer. Gaps in the system are meant for boss fights. That logic was so sound, it had Anbaka excitedly muttering, "Makes sense, bosses are definitely way tougher." To think he could beat them just by blocking. He acts like he wants everyone to think he's a madman. Seo-chun suddenly made a comment while he was at it. "I think I'll try to take down the possessor right now," he said, sending the audience into a frenzy. "Oh no. The guys betting on the underdog are starting to scream. We're gonna lose all our points at this rate. Please just go look for something else that's safe first, then deal with the possessor later." As the devil Seo-chun looked at those crying for help, he gave a happy smile and then spoke up. Turning to the blonde guy in front of him, he said, "Anbaka, let's make another bet on the points." As the guy revealed his cluelessness, asking, "What kind of bet?" Seo-chun calmly stated what was on his mind. "Do you think I can destroy the possessor's equipment today?" He conveniently opened the system to update the betting channel status. Predict points, will channel Shin Seo-chun destroy the possessor's gear. After setting everything up, Seo-chun spoke gently to the audience. "You guys know the rules, right? Just trust me and follow along, that's all." A little later, in some ancient building, it was taking quite a beating. As the bright smoke cleared, two tall figures appeared in a bizarre way. Jai was shouting angrily, letting his voice echo through the air. "I will take your head as revenge for my son." His eyes were filled with unparalleled hatred as he looked at the one still breathing in front of him. The moment Jie lunged forward, Seo-chun gracefully tilted his body and dodged the slash. While his opponent hadn't recovered, he quickly swung his blade, striking Jaya's massive sword. But the guy just looked down at his own weapon and muttered, "How are you already using these tricks?" As soon as he finished, Jai swung his sword at Seo-chun. Anbaka, watching from the sidelines, was breaking into a cold sweat. "I can't find any openings this time either. It's been a while, hasn't it? Don't tell me you really can't find one." Just as the audience started whispering, and before that thought could fully settle, Seo-chun's mocking voice cut through everything. "You thought I couldn't find one just now, didn't you?" Suddenly caught off guard, Anbaka awkwardly replied, "Wait, I'm all the way over here." "How did you know that?" "Spot on." That exact comical look made the audience reveal all sorts of emotions. "He's been caught red-handed. One look and you know it's over. Damn it, we're gonna lose everything. Oh, Mr. Nameless, please be careful." As soon as Anbaka felt a chill down his spine, he shouted, "Guys, Jie's weapon is made of a special material. It might not even have any gaps at all." Seo-chun, having finished his stance, muttered coldly, "Oh, is that so?" He silently searched for critical weaknesses on Jai's body. Then he spoke up gently, sounding just like the Reaper. "Let me check if it really doesn't have any then." The moment Jai raised his sword to finish his opponent, Seo-chun calmly ran in and traced a line right down the middle of the giant blade. That image made Jai roar in anger. "Are you planning on using that trick? And how many more times?" "That trick won't work on me." Unexpectedly, Seo-chun not only ignored his words but plunged his sword deep into the tip of Jai's blade, and quickly made a cutting motion, dragging it from there straight up to his shoulder. That sight completely shocked Anbaka. He hit it, and it didn't stop there. While everyone was still busy being amazed, Seo-chun flicked his blade down onto Ji's body. As soon as the sword touched the guy's thigh, he dashed away. With just those simple actions, the system quickly appeared reporting the mission: acquired skill, find weakness, unlock condition, destroy weapon 10 times via gap technique, 4 out of 10. A series of notifications followed one after another. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. As the system counted to that point, Seo-chun heard the sound of Jai's armor shattering. While Anbaka and the audience were still shocked by Seo-chun's aura, "What is this, man?" He silently listened to the sound of Jai spitting up blood, because that was when the system chimed in, 10 out of 10, skill find weakness acquired. A hidden image quickly appeared before Seo-chun's eyes, making him gasp unconsciously under the puzzled gazes of those watching. Seo-chun just revealed his calm expression again as he spoke. "I was mistaken. The sword really doesn't have a weakness, but his body sure does." Who knows how much time had passed? The capsule door in the real world opened slowly. Seo-chun sat up as soon as he woke, letting out a sigh. But before he could even catch his breath, Suhan bowed his head seriously. "Big brother, you were absolutely insane back there." The noisy sound made Seo-chun feel a bit awkward. "You're still here. He really hasn't gone back yet." He hurriedly stepped out, scratched his head, and said, "Thanks for letting me use the capsule." Suhan still held his pose, replying with a serious tone. It's nothing, I'm the one who should be thanking you, big brother. But the next second he threw himself against his own machine pod and started fawning over it. I bet my pod learned a lot from this experience, too. That action not only made Seo-chun feel a headache coming on, but it also gave him goosebumps. Even the machine pod itself, if it had a soul, would say, I've got goosebumps too, man. A while later, noticing the sky starting to get dark, Seo-chun decided to step out into the living room. Huh. What is this? You still haven't left. He was munching on chocolate cookies before excitedly continuing the conversation. I shut down my stream already. No way I'm missing out on this collab. You're the one who needs to get lost like right now. Suddenly hearing that made Seo-chun arch his brows in confusion. Get lost where in just a split second after that? Are you changing the subject again after ignoring your friend's rude remark? Right then, the chat room for ABCA started going wild. ABCA, get lost. Get out of sight. We don't want to look at your boring face. Get out. Get out. Bring Seo-chun out here right now. Who needs you, man? Get that ugly mug off the screen, please. We didn't come here to see you go play somewhere else. The audience's hostile reaction made him quickly appear on camera. Everyone, please stay calm. Unexpectedly, someone wasn't in the mood for polite talk and practically shoved a gag into ABCA's mouth. Zip it, ABCA. But when the light from his phone turned on, a surge of self-confidence bubbled up and he quickly regained his momentum in front of the difficult crowd. All right then. Looks like he's ready. Let's give a warm welcome to Shin Seo-chun. The door to ABCA's room slowly creaked open, bringing a divine beam of light into the dark space inside. Except for ABCA, who was acting all stuck up. The rest of the viewers had their brains rattled by Seo-chun's angelic beauty. Hello, everyone. This is my first time appearing on camera to meet you all. The man possessed a flawless, truly stunning appearance, a face so perfect it didn't even need a filter. He gently broke into a sunny smile and greeted them politely. I'm Shin Seo-chun. After a dreamy moment, ABCA pulled him to sit next to him and started happily showing off. How is it? What do you all think? Seo-chun is seriously handsome, right? The audience, having just gorged themselves on Seo-chun's god-tier good looks, immediately started roasting ABCA. How come he's this handsome in real life? This is just too unfair for ABCA, that's just life, I guess. Even if you shaved down his nose and jawline, ABCA would still look hideous. Stop it, he's deeply wounded now, as he frantically tried to rebut in his hopelessness. Hey, my lips actually look pretty good too, okay? I've just put on a little weight lately. The commentators didn't shy away from their talent for stirring the pot, making Seo-chun sweat and gulp. You call that a little weight? Is it really just from gaining weight, though? The poor guy just got roasted for no reason. Why pick a fight you know you're going to lose? It's okay, we aren't watching your stream for your face anyway. As soon as he heard that, ABCA knew he had completely lost this battle. He could only muster a weak thanks a lot, guys. Let me go prepare some stuff for a bit. A comment quickly popped up on the screen. ABCA is running away, forcing Seo-chun to think fast to keep the viewers engaged. He's just going to make some dinner. Our next activity is going out for a meal. He hadn't even had a chance to lean back and relax when the system suddenly shouted, Appa donated 50,000 won. And on top of that, it came with a message that was both cheesy and sincere. Oppa, I love you, Tai, causing Seo-chun to sit up shyly, scratching his head. Thank you, but are you a girl? He hadn't even gotten an answer yet. A barrage of comments from female fans flooded in. Give it a rest, Oppa, my foot. Just then, the system fired off fireworks again. Me Too donated 50,000 won, making Seo-chun frown, feeling suspicious. However, this person asked a very sincere question. I want to learn the skill for finding an opponent's weak point. Can you show a few more examples of how to move? Other viewers quickly dropped the old topic to comment. Seriously, that was awesome. Thanks to that, Seo-chun had a chance to lean back again, to think of how to explain it before replying. His mind began to rewind to recall the moment he stood still while battling the string. Seo-chun calmly spoke up confidently. Finding a weak point is a skill that strikes at an enemy's vulnerability, allowing you to destroy their equipment by slashing along specific lines. The explanation segment just marked a moment that left the audience completely helpless. How in the world did he manage to break Jicha's shoulder armor during the fight? Hitting the weak point of an NBC mob is already tough enough. And this one was even a possessor class too. Seo-jun waited for this audience's anticipation to heat up, then immediately threw a bucket of cold water in their faces. No way he's revealing that for free. Stay tuned for next time. If you want to see more examples, come check out my channel tomorrow. As the viewers started laughing and commenting, he immediately seized the chance to promote his channel. Seriously, I have to hand it to him. He just steered the conversation in a completely different direction. All right, next question. Feel free to ask anything about the topic. And as soon as he turned it on, someone asked right away, what exactly is a fragment of order? Seo-jun read the question and answered immediately without even thinking. What was that? I'm not really sure about that one myself. Just like that, he continued the Q&A process. Then he answered with his usual sincerity, what kind of exercise do you usually do? I mostly just go for a run. Why are they so curious about that? Why did you choose the assassin-type game for your first live stream? A friend recommended it to me. As soon as they heard that, the viewers went wild, eager to dig for more info. Oh, sounds like a good friend. Who is it? A while later, a table of grilled meat was quickly live-streamed for everyone to see. Hearing the Q&A, too immediately winked at his phone. That's me! Once the audience realized the truth, they started digging for more gossip. So that's why he wasn't streaming today. This guy, if you have such an awesome friend, you should have invited him to stream together way earlier. But wait, how are you two so close? Tu happily draped an arm around his friend and blurted out, we've been friends since high school. We're even living together now. The happy vibe vanished when Tu's regular viewers chimed in, wait, so Seo-jun is that roommate? The legendary character. As soon as that comment popped up, Tu felt those scrutinizing eyes all over him. Wait, you're trembling and hiding your phone while eating with 3 people. As if pouring oil on the fire, Noke donated 1,000 gold along with a travel clip. That action made Tu panic and scream, hey, wait a second! Before he could do anything, Seo-jun grabbed the phone and opened the clip. I don't know which live stream this was from. Tu was casually hosting a chat with the audience. Guys want to hear a funny story. With the clip titled Travel Story during a surprise stream, Tu shared it himself. I told you guys I'm living with a friend, right? Usually he's pretty normal, but sometimes he does the weirdest things. The other day his phone got a bit of dirt on it, so he actually started scrubbing it with soap. I was shocked and asked him what he was doing, and he just calmly replied, isn't it waterproof? And he just kept scrubbing. I nearly fainted. Yesterday I told him to cool down the cocoon by using a cooling fan, and so he squatted next to the cocoon and pointed the fan right at it. A model good boy, no wonder he failed. Tu's cheerful laughter echoed through the phone, causing Seo-jun to stare daggers at him without looking away. He gently used a pair of tongs to pinch the other guy's cheek. You, my friend, are the final course for tonight. This brat? Tu's squeals easily drew a round of laughter from the viewers, along with the 2 streamers, Anbaka and Suhan. Time to throw a tantrum, huh? A few moments later, Tu happily sighed, looking at his empty bowl. That was such a delicious meal, I'm stuffed. Anbaka couldn't help but speak up. Thanks for the collab today, Seo-jun. He wasn't the type to show much emotion like the others, but he still nodded slightly in response. You worked hard too, Anbaka. I learned a lot thanks to you. I learned a lot. That remark made him shyly wave his hand repeatedly. Oh, it's nothing. I'm the one who learned a lot. By the way, Seo-jun, are you planning to start a YouTube channel? That topic coming up made his face light up. Oh, I'd love to. But I'm still a complete amateur. Anbaka kindly offered advice. If you really want to do it, you should find an editor first. Seo-jun's bewildered look made him excitedly slam the table and eagerly ask the other guy right on the live stream. If you want, should I introduce you to someone I know? Anbaka's enthusiasm made Seo-jun unable to stop himself from asking directly. Someone you know, you say. Only when the small apartment returned to silence after the noisy meal, Seo-jun happily cracked open a beer can. He took a quick sip before letting out a breath. That feels so good. Suddenly a thought flashed through Seo-jun's mind, making him stop laughing. Do I really need to do YouTube? His train of thought quickly pulled him back to the end of that grilled meat meal. When Anbaka shyly expressed his opinion, of course you do. Your channel could grow even more. Seo-jun's income from that was pretty decent, but still. Can the channel actually take off? Most of it is thanks to the editor's skills, he said. The Cocoon game is different from the others, so it's rare to find an editor who knows how to make it pop. As soon as Seo-jun heard that, he turned to ask Anbaka's editor, Really? Why did you decide to work as an editor for Anbaka back then? Suhan, hearing that question, happily shared, I was just an ordinary office worker back then. Then by chance I saw Anbaka's stream and saw he had talent, but he wouldn't upload videos, just letting the channel get dusty, so I thought I could revive it, so I proactively reached out to him. The story was relatively short, yet it made Seojun sigh with admiration. That must have been back when he was still a complete nobody. Is that right? You dared to quit your job for that? Suhan nodded without hesitation. Yeah. He calmly looked at Anbaka's cheerful, goofy face and cleared his throat to reveal his true feelings. I had a gut feeling. I just knew Anbaka would become famous. Returning to the present, Seojun looked at the setting sun. He began to mutter subconsciously, an editor, huh? If I want to succeed as a streamer. Then YouTube is a must. But my goal is to win the live stream tournament. In just a fleeting moment, Seojun was caught up in his own private thoughts before he knew it. At first, I only intended to get the cocoon and then quit. But being a streamer is actually more fun than I thought. I've started to enjoy the feeling of laughing and meeting people and the teasing from the viewers back then. A lazy guy like you can actually play games. It made Seojun feel as happy as a grandfather watching his grandkids play. Kids these days really know how to enjoy themselves. Then, he remembered the scene of viewers frustratingly holding him back when Seojun calmly walked into the trap of the game's script. Why did everything have to end so easily? Those happy, warm moments made him drift off for a few seconds before he sighed, murmuring under the warm afternoon sun. Is it because I'm lonely? The breeze blew, making Seojun feel much more alert. I guess so. The cherry blossom petals fell gracefully, making his mood feel a bit heavier. Seojun began to recall old memories of his past life. The feeling of remembering a past life is just like having a hometown that no matter how much you miss it, you can never return to. Those thoughts made Seojun feel even more hazy than before. I don't know anymore. I should head to the gym to clear my head. The next morning at a certain gym, the sound of thumping punches echoed through the air. Inside the gym, the trainers were watching closely as Seojun tormented others with his precise, relentless punches. Each dangerous strike made his opponent break out in a cold sweat even if they managed to dodge. Yet Seojun still calmly pulled his hand back and sighed comfortably. That image made Chi-Huk standing on the mat watching, unable to help himself. It gave him goosebumps. He's over there relieving stress again. It's strange, too. The guys he beats up all seem to improve afterwards. Seojun had suddenly become the body management coach for those training there. Suddenly, Jong-soo appeared from somewhere and started complaining, "Oh, manager, that 18-year-old kid was itching to spar and now he's miserably crying out, 'How much longer do I have to run on this machine?'" Chi-Huk, who was busy observing Seojun's strikes, had to turn to comfort the kid. "Listen here, kid, you've only been here for 2 weeks. Unexpectedly, Jong-soo whined in frustration. "It's just basic physical training." "But I feel like it's not enough, manager. I'm a professional, you know." The somewhat dangerous way he spoke made Chi-Huk find it ridiculous. He reminded him, professional in the virtual world, maybe? This is real life, kid. Live in reality. Seeing that he couldn't convince the other party, Jong-soo began to frown and calculate. The trainer said I have to practice realistically with my own body. So at this rate, I'll be stuck on this treadmill until next year's tournament. It's no different from a hamster running forever with no end in sight. That primal fear immediately gave Jong-soo the motivation to crawl onto the floor and throw a tantrum. I want to learn Real's combat moves, it's so exciting. His noise didn't just make the people coming to train laugh, "Here he goes again," but it also made Chi-Huk waver. He opened his mouth. This kid is really... All right. Today, we'll have a quick sparring match, Happy. As soon as Jong-soo heard that he was so happy, his eyes lit up. Awesome, can I choose my own opponent? Choose my own? When Chi-Huk gave this go-ahead, Jong-soo was so hyped he started jumping around the middle of the gym like a maniac while everyone around him immediately started clearing out. They cleared out in a rush after all. There was no way Jong-soo was winning against anyone here. Suddenly, a confident voice cut through the air, leaving Jong-soo stunned. "Come on, jump in," the guy said lazily. Jong-soo turned around, his heart pounding with an indescribable mix of nerves. As he looked up at the person who had called him out, he instantly froze in his tracks. Wait, isn't that the guy from the video yesterday? Min-hung kept going on and on about how good his moves were, so I checked it out. Thinking back, Jong-soo remembered how surprised he was when the guy shoved his phone right in his face. Hey, look at this, he's actually insane! Jong-soo hadn't cared at all back then. He just yelled angrily, "Hey buddy, move it! You're blocking the whole screen!" But then a sudden realization hit Jong-soo, making him jump. Even Ha-sun was impressed when he saw the weird reactions of everyone around them. It honestly didn't make Jong-soo feel any better. I mean, he looks pretty average to me. What's the big deal? How did a total nobody even get in here? Jong-soo watched Seo-chun talking to the manager, feeling curious. Is he friends with the manager? Suddenly, the guy shifted his gaze away from Chi-huk and looked straight at Jong-soo, making him jump back in surprise. Jong-soo pulled his classic act dumb face, which made Seo-chun look visibly annoyed. Man, who should I pick? Jong-soo felt the guy's eyes fixed on him and started panicking inside. Oh man, why is he staring at me like that? Right at that moment, Chi-huk called out, Jong-soo, have you picked an opponent yet? As soon as Jong-soo gave a flustered reply, no, not yet, Chi-huk immediately clapped a heavy hand on his shoulder. Listen close, Jong-soo. Sparring isn't about knocking your opponent out. For some reason, Chi-huk was in full-on serious lecture mode. The main point is to test your techniques and sharpen your skills. Jong-soo just stood there thinking, why is he looking at me with such a scary face? And then, instead of taking Chi-huk's advice seriously, Jong-soo frowned and let his eyes wander, checking out Seo-chun's physique. He's about the same size as me. And looking at him, he doesn't have a single muscle on him. This looks like an easy win. Chi-huk shook him hard. Jong-soo, you hearing me? Remember that. Stay respectful, don't get too carried away. Even though he wasn't really listening, Jong-soo chirped back enthusiastically. Yep, I got it. So before I shoot myself in the foot, can I spar with that guy instead? This one-of-a-kind choice left Chi-huk completely baffled. What with him? When Jong-soo nodded firmly, yeah, the other students started whispering nonsense. We wanted a sparring match with the gaming god. Chi-huk tried to reason with him. Jong-soo, you want to rethink that. There are other people here waiting to fight you. Who would have guessed Jong-soo wouldn't care about them at all? Instead, he boldly asked the guy directly, is it rude to ask for a sparring match the moment we meet? Seeing the cocky little brat in front of him refusing to back down? Chi-huk quickly lowered his voice. Oh yeah, that is a super rude and thoughtless thing to ask. That guy is... Before he could finish, Seo-chun cleared his throat. I heard you. You want to spar with me? Since the guy had happily offered first, Jong-soo jumped right in, excited. Oh, really? I'm a huge fan. You're Seo-chun, right? That question made Seo-chun freeze, confused. How do you know my name? Jong-soo started rambling before he could even take a breath. I watched your stream yesterday, oh. Can I call you Big Bro? Seo-chun whispered to himself, feeling awkward. This kid reminds me of two. He then gave a sheepish smile. Sure, whatever you want. Urged on. By Jong-soo's eagerness, he added, let's just hit the mat, shall we? The two young fighters quickly got their gear ready to step into the ring. Jong-soo looked at Seo-chun's calm demeanor. He couldn't help but run his mouth. Hey, Big Bro. He dropped his eyes, acting all superior and naive. You're actually pretty good at games. Of course, not as good as me yet. Sensing the guy was trying to prick at his pride, Seo-chun just murmured gently, is that so? Anyway, who are you again? The clueless question left Jong-soo looking totally stunned. You seriously don't know who I am? I'm the one and only gaming god! You really didn't know. You really have no idea, do you? The strange title made Seo-jun scratch his head in confusion. What in the world is a god of games? The other guy's clueless look triggered something dark in Jong-soo's mind. Wait, hang on, he said he was just a beginner at gaming. Why on earth is that kid Ha-sun making such a big deal out of a nobody like him? It only took a split second. Jong-soo smirked, feeling excited. Let me win, and then I'll show you how much of an honor it is to face me. The moment he heard that Seo-jun calmly got into position ready for the lopsided battle about to unfold. All right, let's go. While Jong-soo was bouncing around lightly, warming up, he thought, no need to get serious with a beginner. I'll just go easy on him and play nice. Seo-jun activated his signature sweeping mode and punched Jong-soo square in the face while the guy was still busy grinning at his own delusions. Take it easy, huh? A moment later, cold winds started to pick up outside. Seo-jun had just taken a sip of his banana milk when Ha-sun spoke up softly. Seo-jun, you really should have gone a bit easier on the kid earlier. Judging by his build, he just looks like an average guy. As soon as he heard that, Seo-jun replied calmly, it's fine, Dad. His footwork is actually pretty promising. He's probably just working on his stamina right now. Hassan nodded sheepishly. Oh, is that so? As he recalled the image of himself and Ji-hyuk watching Seo-jun knock Dong-soo out in a single hit, his mind drifted off. Ugh, my head hurts. Suddenly, he remembered something. He cleared his throat and asked, So anyway, how's your streaming going lately? Seo-jun looked up at the clear blue sky, couldn't help but sigh, and muttered, Yeah, everything's going just fine. His mature demeanor didn't make Hassan feel relieved. On the contrary, it made him even more flustered. Well, times are safer now, I guess, so I'm not as strict as your mom used to be. It's really hard to get famous as a streamer, right? I heard from Tu that just getting one single person to watch is a massive struggle. Hassan took the opportunity to recount the conversation he and his wife had a few days ago. Streaming isn't a career just anyone can break into. He even cleared his throat, mimicking his wife's voice so his son could understand the situation. One viewer seriously, not to mention how Seo-jun might feel frustrated with Tu, that rascal. He hadn't even had a chance to express his thoughts before Hassan excitedly shared, So here's what your dad is thinking. Why don't you two try playing Teolazap? It's a great game. People say that if you look at this game and... It looks familiar, then it's time for a medical checkup. When Seo-jun raised an eyebrow expressing his concern, Is that still popular these days, Dad? What kind of game is that anyway? I've never even heard of it. That very nonchalant attitude made Hassan shout, This kid, you can't call yourself a gamer if you don't know this title, you know. You have to grind games like this if you want to pull in the views. How many people are in your stream right now? Seo-jun stood still, pondering for a few seconds before replying, Last time it was around 440 viewers. Hassan froze at the information. Little did he know, because he couldn't read his father's reaction, Seo-jun added, Today will probably be even higher. I have 3,000 followers now. That made him spit out his banana milk entirely. The sight made Seo-jun jump to the side in fear. Dad, keep it down. But Hassan didn't care about that at all. He only focused on the bigger issue. 3,000. You have 3,000 people. His shocked yell echoed through the open air. After that collab on the forums, slowly but surely, all day long, every post easily hit 30 interactions, and nobody was trashing Seo-jun's cognitive abilities anymore. He was just lying on his bed. While analyzing those popularity metrics, he realized his recognition in this community had definitely gone up. Suddenly, a ping sound went off, leaving him confused. He checked his phone. It turned out Tu had suddenly forwarded a post to Seo-jun along with a message, Check this out, isn't it hilarious? Why the streamer Seo-jun is a hacker. The poster Oban Tu wrote, The standards for what they call a genius are so vague, and other than Seo-jun, there hasn't been a single successful case. If he isn't part of the development team, then he's definitely a hacker. I'd bet my life on it. Seo-jun finished reading that trash content and stood still for a few seconds before bursting into a sarcastic laugh. He silently imagined Tu's over-the-top dramatic laughter. He couldn't help but frown and chuckle along with it. Pretty convincing, huh? So this is what it feels like to experience this kind of thing. After the laughter died down, Seo-jun frowned again, prioritizing the matter at hand. First, just give them a report, but then a deep, sudden thought struck him, making him jump up from his seat. At this rate, don't tell me I have to do a live stream to clarify things after only being on air for 3 days. With that thought, Seo-jun dived into the game console as if that article had really stirred something in him. He seemed 10,000 times more pumped up than usual today. So how many people would be watching, I wonder? Who knows how much time passed, but just as Seo-jun announced on the system that the live stream was starting, I jumped in. The viewer count was skyrocketing, while outside, Baimo was losing his mind, slamming his hand onto the desk and screaming at the top of his lungs. How the hell did he unlock the weak point detection skill already? That process. It was designed to take at least a month. Gwang-ha waited for his boss to calm down a bit before jumping in to reply, classic gamer talk. There's so much stuff to do. You'd have to be incredibly lucky to pull that off. You see, sir, I told you something felt off, but did you listen to a word I said? Fearing his boss might lash out even more, Baimo roared back in anger. You brat, what did you just say? However, Gwang-ha quickly returned to his usual serious demeanor to focus on the work at hand. Calm down! Do you think I wanted this to be exposed? Hearing that strange term, Baimo looked confused. Exposed? What the hell are you talking about? Under the other man's bewildered gaze, Gwang-ha quickly opened his laptop. He pushed it toward his grumpy boss. Look at this, Baimo muttered in confusion as he stared at the dark screen. What is this? Even though Gwang-ha couldn't see his mouse cursor clearly, he managed to hit the play button perfectly. The video showed him breaking Baimo's game. Immediately they saw the scene of Seo-chun, handling the sequence once again. Naturally, the glorious victory he achieved in just a few short seconds was clearly displayed. Everything made Baimo's head spin. There was just no way this made any sense. Not one bit. Couldn't it be that he just hit a bug, which is how he accidentally got the weak point detection skill? Hearing that question, Guangha immediately shot it down. I checked that a long time ago. There are no bugs. That only made Baimo even more agitated. Then how? Because of his boss's ignorance, Guangha channeled his inner detective. After all, he had become a total fanboy of Seo-chun since the live stream. Let me explain. It seems he figured out the pattern from the very first try. And about that pattern, it's the standard sword trajectory that our team had to grind away at for months to design. Even in their dreams, an average player wouldn't see it, but Seo-chun saw it instantly and sliced it to pieces. In short, even from the perspective of a game developer like me, I'm 100% certain he's not a hacker. Anyone who dares to mess with Seo-chun is declaring war on me. Oh wow, he is truly the best. Long live Seo-chun! Hundreds of thousands of flowery words from Guangha were interrupted almost immediately by Baimo. Hey, you stop it! What are we going to do now, huh? Unexpectedly, he calmly cleared his throat and gestured. Do what I wasn't finished praising him yet. That laid-back, I'm in control attitude made Baimo scream in frustration. What do you mean, what? Don't you know if those fragments fall out early, we're all screwed? How could he be so relaxed? While Guangha was still happily doing his job as a game dev, Baimo, bearing more responsibility, naturally had more to worry about. The order fragments are one of the few Easter eggs we hid meant to tease the next game. According to the plan, when all fragments are collected, a short quest chain is triggered. Once the player finishes it, the reveal happens, and the company's teaser video is supposed to drop at that exact moment. It was a brilliantly organic marketing strategy calculated perfectly by Baimo, yet his perfect plan had crashed and burned bitterly. All because of one single gamer. That realization made Baimo want to collapse. Still trying to save his aching heart, he cleared his throat and asked Guangha, "How long will it take to finish the teaser trailer for the new game?" As soon as the other replied, 1 month, Baimo frowned and pressured him. What if the whole team works overtime like crazy starting today? Guangha paused for a few seconds to calculate. Then he gave a vague answer. Maybe about a week. Baimo anxiously rubbed his hands together and tentatively asked further, Then what are the odds that the streamer will collect all the order fragments? Back in that time frame. With over-the-top confidence, Guangha quickly replied with joy without even thinking. I can guarantee this absolutely. 100%, sir. The old man spoke with such supreme confidence that Baimo, already at his wit's end, flew into a fit of rage in a split second. He gritted his teeth and hissed at him, You worthless, annoying brat! Then suddenly bellowing so the whole company could hear, he yelled, Get out! After kicking Guangha out of the room, Baimo leaned back in his chair and let out a weary sigh. Yet his eyes couldn't help themselves. He stared at the screen where footage of Seo-chun's final stage fight with Day was frozen on his laptop. No way. How is that even possible? A wave of frustration washed over him, and Baimo angrily hammered at his keyboard. How did he pull that off? But just a moment later, he had to stop everything he was doing, completely mesmerized by Seo-chun's swordplay. All right, fine, I'll admit it. This is actually pretty. Baimo suddenly clicked the replay button on Seo-chun's battle footage. Watching the view count climb, he couldn't resist watching it again the way Seo-chun exuded that raw aura. Like a classic swordsman from the old days, it made Baimo so curious he went online to search for the guy's name, only to get sucked into watching more of Seo-chun's badass gaming clips. Coupled with the young man's unpredictable, lethal attitude, Baimo felt a new spark of excitement covering his mouth to hide his grin. That is just way too cool. Happily scrolling with his mouse, he muttered excitedly, That idea to use the soldiers to corner Day. That was my idea. I never imagined it would be revealed like this. Suddenly, while still in his trance, Baimo realized it was already 3:21 in the morning. Wow, it's that late already. It's been so long since I've felt this. This satisfied. Watching players enjoy the game I poured my heart into in their own unique way, and seeing the viewers' jaws drop like, wait, you can actually play like that? This is exactly what we all dreamed of when creating the Dawn Assassins unit, even if it meant sacrificing the mental health of both myself and the staff. It plummeting severely. Why is it throwing an error now? Damn it, you're the one who said to do it that way. These thoughts made him unable to hold back. Smiling with satisfaction, Baimo did something he rarely did. He followed So-chun online. Almost immediately, a new live stream popped up titled, "Thank you for 1,700 followers." As the stream officially started, someone excitedly shouted, "He's live! Let's go, guys!" A split second later, So-chun's handsome, expressionless face appeared on screen. "Hey, everyone!" A flood of comments began scrolling rapidly across the system. "Hello! What kind of stream title is that?" The lively scene made him feel slightly surprised. "The views go up and the chat speed is making me dizzy. That's why I prepared this." As soon as So-chun sent a private message, Cho-am, also known as Assassin. Cho-sun appeared, followed by Patient Riding a White Horse and Winter Defender, truly his real ones, seeing all three were online. So-chun lowered his voice to call roll, "Is everyone here?" From now on, these guys will be the moderators managing the chat room. As if waiting for him to finish, the three immediately showed their loyalty. "Just leave it to me. I, Cho-am, the hero with 25 million points, will manage this strictly. God So-chun King, So-chun, the great So-chun, So-chun is the best." "Yes, sir. I will do my absolute best to give the audience a good laugh." Looking at that bunch of legendary trolls, infamous ones, watching him like that, he was still very serious, explaining, "These are the people who have been with me since my very first day on air. When I asked them to be moderators, they all happily volunteered." He didn't forget the witty comments from the three moderators back when So-chun first started streaming. But it's actually not bad watching a newbie play in such a goofy, clueless way. It has its own charm. Besides, in my opinion, those movements weren't just luck. That was legitimately peak skill. Remembering that fun chat session when he first asked his three fans for help. "Yes, I think I can handle moderating the chat channel. Thanks for trusting us. Are you serious, man?" So-chun suddenly remembered something and chuckled to himself. "Except for that god-tier guy who steals toilet bricks who is still completely missing in action. Anyway, here are the rules for my channel. Everyone take a quick look." As soon as So-chun pressed a button, the live stream system dinged with a series of new notifications for the viewers. The chat room is only for topics related to the live stream. If you see toxic people, don't argue in the chat. Report them straight to the moderators. You guys already know what you shouldn't be doing. Right. The viewers with the fastest reading comprehension quickly responded, "In short, behave yourselves, got it." So what on earth does that stream title mean? The final question made So-chun raise an eyebrow. About that. It seems quite a few people were skeptical about how I found that weakness. That's my fault for not explaining it clearly, so I apologize. It's rare for someone to offer a sincere apology, only to be immediately called out by the viewers without being able to defend themselves. You don't look even a little bit sorry, man. How on earth did you find those weak points anyway? Oh, he's back. Never mind, I already took a screenshot. So-chun didn't pay any attention to those comments and just focused on the main point. I connected the lines between the similar parts on the gear so it's easier to slash them. I figured even if I tried to explain it, people would just say I'm cheating anyway. So I just reported myself to be safe. The way he announced it made the viewers go wild. "Wait, what? You reported yourself?" So-chun quickly showed the email he had previously sent to the game company. "I guess I accidentally used a hack without even knowing it. Could you guys check it for me?" That made everyone burst out laughing. "What kind of logic is that? It's so confusing I'm losing my mind." "So that's the reason you turned yourself in. Wow, forcing the game company to prove your innocence for you. That's legendary." Those cheers made So-chun feel proud, and he smiled with his arms crossed. "So I've explained it clearly now, haven't I?" Unexpectedly, none of the viewers nodded in agreement. They just kept spamming the chat with laughter. "Explain my foot. That's just a slick excuse. But you have to admit this move was effective. He really is a cold-blooded madman, a true genius at streaming." Seeing everyone's excitement, So-chun happily clicked into the game system. "All right then, I'm heading into the game now. Today's stream will be..." Suddenly a loading screen appeared, making him freeze. Oh, a quest request just popped up. "Thank you to the game developers, the Dawn Assassins team." Right in front of So-chun, the game company's exclusive system suddenly issued a notification, "Use weak point detection on the master of the ATG tower." The viewers saw it too. It made them go crazy. 1,000,001, that's insane. But what kind of weak point could the master of the ATG tower possibly have? He isn't even wearing any armor. Aren't they talking about magic? Wait, you can slash magic too. Do they really know that? Is that account actually the real developer's account? Someone asked, making Seo-chun nod in agreement. That's a good point. He started getting lost in his own thoughts. The first quest and such a huge bonus. Little did he know that he was pondering for way longer than any other streamer would have while Seo-chun was being dead serious about the recent incident. Is this really the game developer? Meanwhile, the viewers were dying of laughter at his over-the-top seriousness. Hey, look at this handsome guy. This level should be a piece of cake. So sweet, as if that's ever gonna happen. Why is our streamer so naive? The comments quickly disappeared as Seo-chun pressed the button to switch areas. Who knows how much time had passed? Seo-chun had been teleported to a city ruled by the mages of the ATG Tower. The one who reigned over the center of the tower, the Archduke always acted composed and rational on the outside. But he didn't hesitate at all when it came to performing experiments on human bodies. As soon as he stepped foot into this gloomy city, Seo-chun began leaping around everywhere. Nobody on the ground noticed him until he jumped down, startling a girl so much she almost jumped out of her skin. Overwhelmed by fear, she lost all her energy and scrambled away on the ground. I thought you were an assassin. Heart attack. That scared the soul out of me. Even after seeing such a funny scene, Seo-chun just kept casually walking down the street. All right then, time to go do some assassinating. Leaving the viewers not knowing whether to laugh or yell, "Runaway monsters, cover your ears." If a monster heard that, it would probably cry its eyes out. Surviving in medieval times is so hard. Breaking into the ATG Tower by walking through the front gate. This is honestly gripping. Hey Seo-chun, do you know anything about this ATG Tower? As soon as he saw that comment, he stopped to think. I was afraid if I did it too professionally it would be boring, so I only looked up the basics. Something like, let's clear the dungeon with Seo-chun. So the guy replied to the viewers with his trademark gutsy honesty. No. Isn't it easier to just climb straight to the top floor? It's that very bluntness that keeps the audience in constant awe. Are you just going to charge in headfirst without a second thought again today? But honestly, this ATG tower seems a bit too tough to handle, don't you think? Seo-chun glanced at the pile of comments while stepping forward. He gently pushed open the massive gate blocking his path and muttered to himself, well, let's just see how this goes. Seo-chun scanned the vast space inside the tower, and since he didn't know the way, he decided to tail the NPCs. Are those NPCs mages? Getting no answer from the viewers. Seo-chun continued his monologue. Fewer than I expected. To his surprise, most of them were just ordinary people. Only then did the audience happily start chatting back, turning the place into a total marketplace. Mages were always rare, after all. Levels 1 through 3 are basically just a market. The real challenge starts on the 4th floor. Seo-chun observed as he watched the mages pass through the gate, guarded by soldiers standing at strict attention. Seeing the few scattered remarks from the commentators, he thought, oh, what silly stunt is this newbie about to pull now? Aim for those guards and wipe them out quickly. I'm so bored, he thought, as the analytical mindset from his past life began to surge. Seeing the chat channel go silent, he mused. This must be the way to the 4th floor. If he were heading the wrong way, the chat would have been flooded with KKK laughter by now. Dazion, standing guard, frowned when he saw someone approaching and threatened, this is a restricted area. He silently tightened his grip on his spear, calculating, I just need to scare them off a bit and they'll back down. Just as Dazion uttered the familiar line he'd been taught, without a pass, you are not allowed to enter. Seo-chun effortlessly slashed at the arm that was preparing to attack. The move was so swift and clean that before the guard could even scream in pain, he was already collapsed on the ground watching Seo-chun calmly walk through the gate. But he hadn't taken more than a few steps when something caught his leg. What was it? Not only that, but Seo-chun felt like he couldn't even turn his head left or right. Everything hit him so suddenly that he couldn't help but feel anxious. What the hell is this? I can't move my body. While the tension was mounting, a disgusting laugh suddenly erupted from right behind Seo-chun, and a mage appeared holding 2 fireballs in his hands. Too bad for you, intruder. He didn't bother saying another word. He launched the fire towards Seo-chun. The surprise attack left him completely stunned.